big game. And the only way to do that, your veteran players, they really have to play well, and that's going to be one of the keys.
And all those things are true. The mountain you got to climb, what's in front of you, the energy it's going to take. But at the end of the day, your mindset has to be, it's all about this game. You got one shot to go on.
And when you guys won with Baltimore, you were the 4 seed, like Seattle and San Diego, 1 at home, and then you hope, right?
And it takes a certain mindset when you've got that kind of road in front of you.
Well, we'll see who has the mindset beginning today here with our first game, which is 8-8 St. Louis at 9-7 Seattle. The Seahawks won the NFC West by edging out the Rams despite losing to them twice, once in a horrific fourth-quarter collapse. A rare divisional championship for the Seahawks, but they are still sleepless in Seattle. Just ask Sean Alexander, who missed out on the rushing title this year by just 1 yard. Now, he felt that he should have gotten the call last Sunday on this Matt Hasselbeck 1-yard quarterback sneak against Atlanta, 4.5 minutes to go in the game. He didn't, and as fate would have it, Seattle never got the ball back. Alexander stayed on the sidelines. After the game, Alexander was quoted as saying, "This is the first time I've ever been backstabbed in my life." He took a lot of heat for that all week long, but Coach Mike Holmgren chose to look ahead.
Well, you know, it was a storm because people chose to make it a storm as much as anything else. It was a young guy who was very disappointed he didn't get the rushing championship. And honestly, so was I. I was rooting for him. I wanted him to get it. And it was a little misunderstanding there at the end of a game. And sometimes you know it better than anybody. You put a microphone in a young player's face, and sometimes he says things he doesn't really mean. And I think that's what happened.
Apparently the longest yard in Seattle. They should remake that movie. Despite all of this, Holmgren, Alexander, and the Seahawks know that this franchise has a chance to win its first playoff game in 20 years. To get us set for the game, let's go out to the Pacific Northwest and join Mike Patrick. Michael?
Chris, thank you, and welcome to Seattle for the third meeting of the season between the Rams and the Seahawks. St. Louis has swept the season series, including a dramatic fourth-quarter comeback here at Quest Field. That was the first win. The second one came in the Dome at St. Louis. Joe, can they make it 3 in a row?
Well, Mike, they've got to overcome some odds. First of all, it's a short week in preparation. Then there's a 1,500-mile trip just to get out here. You're playing early in the day. And there's a psychological aspect to this. They haven't played well on the road. Now, they have to feel like they caught a big break with the weather. It's a pretty nice day. The track looks like it may be fairly fast, which suits them very, very well.
Well, Seattle has not won a playoff game since 1984. That's the longest drought in the NFL. Paul, what do they have to do?
Well, Holmgren told us the other day we're going to go after Mark Bulger. That means that they're going to send 6 and sometimes 7 guys, which puts an awful lot of pressure on the corners and safeties because the Rams can still send out 3 receivers. I'm going to tell you something. Bulger, in the 2 games that they played, Bulger went back 76 times to throw the ball. They only got to him 3 times. If that happens today, it's a long day for Seattle.
Of course, the Rams have a reputation of being a much better team indoors at home. Susie, how about the conditions this afternoon?
Well, Mike, it looks like we all lucked out. All week long they were calling for rain, maybe even snow, but it's a beautiful 40 degrees. Players telling me that the conditions are perfect. Rams not quite out of the woods yet, though, because Torrey Holt said this field turf, not exactly like the dome turf, so his cuts will be sharp, not razor sharp. And remember, the Rams have lost their last 5 games outdoors. The last one they won, though, was right here. So, Mike, I guess it all balances out.
All right, thank you, Susie. Boomer, we will see you at the bottom of the hour.
We look forward to it, Mike. Guys, Susie, it should be a lot of fun. Now, look, every week on ESPN's and NFL Countdown, we do it. Come on, Seattle. This team is like an Advil special.
Well, there's not enough couches to psychoanalyze this team. Yes, they have Super Bowl talent, but they continually don't show it. The drop passes on offense, the defensive collapses, including last week against the Atlanta Falcon offensive JVs. They gave up a potential game-tying touchdown. Look, Sean Alexander, you heard Coach Holmgren say he's a young kid. The bottom line for the Seahawks is that they are an immature team, and if they're going to go anywhere in this playoffs, they have to grow up today.
Yeah, and clearly St. Louis is just the opposite of that. Their mentality seems to be, look, we're not even supposed to be here. So let's just go out, let's use all our formidable weapons, put it out on the field, and see if we can go to the next round.
Well, I spoke to Sean Alexander the other day, and yes, he did want the rushing title, but he didn't want to be a distraction to the team. I think this gives him extra motivation. He plans on having a big game. He's had 2 big games, both the other times they played the Rams. And you know what? He said he's actually player liaison to the coach. So they have a good relationship.
Well, he has to have a big game now, doesn't he?
He has to. After that statement, you got to play well.
A lot of big-time offensive players in this game, and you wonder which are going to step up. Both teams have fun. We'll preview both of our games as we continue here in New York.
About face of the Chargers. Al Michaels and John Madden check in from San Diego. And Jerry Rice talks about 20 years in the NFL and what might be his last run at a championship. The pregame show on ABC Sports, brought to you by Wild Cherry Pepsi. Make this the wildest NFL playoffs ever with new Wild Cherry Pepsi. It's the Cherry Cola. And Lexus and their passionate pursuit of perfection.
Good things have happened, bad things have happened, and I've just learned from all that. It's like this at times, you know, it's you're at the height of the wave and now you're at the bottom. Enjoy the good times, but then, you know, obviously don't get down in the bad times because it's going to turn around. You just got to stay, you know, even keel, stay confident and believe, and it'll all turn around.
I don't believe in just playing only when I'm 100%. That's not what football is all about. Football is about playing hurt, playing with inconveniences, things that you got to deal with, nicks and bruises and cuts and scrapes and everything. And that's what I love about the game of football.
In our second game at 8 Eastern time, the 10-6 New York Football Jets travel to the AFC West champion San Diego Chargers, 12-4 overall winners of 9 of their last 10 games. For the Lightning Bolts, a first playoff appearance in 9 years. The Jets have made it 3 of the last 4 years under coach Herman Edwards. For a look ahead, let's go out to San Diego and Al Michaels.
Thanks,
Al?
Chris. And you know, for the first time in almost a decade, Qualcomm Stadium will host a Charger playoff game as the AFC West champion San Diego Chargers host the New York Jets tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. And now John and I are inside the San Diego Charger locker room. And, John, so many great stories surrounding these Chargers this season. Maybe the best would be the quarterback Drew Brees, who a few months ago didn't know whether he'd be cut or traded or what. And here he is starting tonight, the NFL Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. And I think that when he didn't know what was going to happen to him, he got a little upset by that, and he started to play with a chip on his shoulder. Then the Chargers started to win, and then he started to get a lot of confidence. And that's a pretty good combination, a quarterback playing with a chip on his shoulder with a lot of confidence.
And he's very healthy now. Chad Pennington suffered a strained shoulder in Buffalo a few weeks back. And how has he looked to you in the past couple of starts?
He didn't look very good in the last 2 starts, and I think he realizes that. Herm Edwards realizes that. Herm Edwards said yesterday that this was the best week of practice that he had. And in talking to Chad Pennington, I think that he knows his limitations now, and he's going to play within them.
They'll need him to come up big. And injuries, the story around the Jets in other ways as well. For more on that, let's check in with Michelle Tafoya. Michelle.
Al, I spoke with Herm Edwards this morning, and he confirmed for me that his Pro Bowl defensive end John Abraham will not play today because of that sprained knee. Also, wide receiver Wayne Corbett, who suffered that concussion a week ago, has just about a 5% chance of being active today. As for the San Diego Chargers, they get wide receiver Keenan McCardell back from his hamstring injury, but on the minus side, Sammy Davis, their defensive back in nickel situations, will not play. He has a fracture in his lower leg. One other big story here, the weather. You can see it around me. It just started raining here again about 15 minutes ago to add to the near record rainfalls here in San Diego this week. The last couple of nights in particular, heavy downpours. The field here at Qualcomm has been covered since Thursday night. It's expected to continue to rain this afternoon. Wind not likely to be a factor early, but Chris Berman back in that nice, warm, dry studio. The wind could pick up a little late in the game where a field goal may make the difference.
Thank you, Michelle. It's warm and dry unless we step outside here as well. And by the way, I thought the song was "It Never Rains in Southern California, Man, It Pours," and I guess that's what it's done. Back to the quarterback, so that's the issue. Chad Pennington, look, he's just about confirmed it. He's hurt. They can't make all these throws. So what do we expect out of him?
Yeah, no, he is injured. He's been injured for over a month, trying to play football. His shoulder, it's the front of his shoulder. And let me tell you, when he gets his feet under him and he gets his body going ahead of his throw, ahead of his arm, he can protect the front of his shoulder. But 50% of the time, when he's off balance or he has to make a throw to the wide side of the field, he opens up his shoulder and then he can't make that throw. The bottom line is it's a big liability. And plus, in wet weather, he's going to have a heavier ball. and he's going to have to grip the ball even tighter, and it's going to make that shoulder even tougher to deal with.
Now, Drew Brees, on the other hand, you got to love Drew Brees. He didn't give in to his circumstances. He refused to relinquish the starting quarterback job for the San Diego Chargers, and now here he sits on a playoff game, his first playoff game at home and against a team he's familiar with.
Well, what we have today is two of the great running backs here in football. And that'd be Curtis Martin, who won the rushing title, and LaDainian Tomlinson, the all-pro. He does everything for San Diego. You're a defensive player, Michael. What's it like trying to corral these guys?
Hard. Both of these guys, they're both equally as successful, but two totally different running styles. Tomlinson, he's going to slash. He's more flashy. He's quick. And he could take it to the end zone from anywhere on the field. Whereas Curtis Martin, he kind of puts you to sleep. He runs with a dead leg. Looks like he's trying to pull his left leg behind him like it's a caboose. But for some reason, the guy's successful. He's hard-nosed. He's consistent. And that's all that matters.
Leaves a lot of dead defenders behind him when you try to tackle him. We run with a dead leg as well. Well, Marty Schottenheimer been named. They're the coaches in the first game. We'll be back to the Seattle Rams preview in a moment.
Coming up, the ageless Jerry Rice looks back and forward on his football career.
I knew I would have lesser of a role. I knew I wouldn't come here and just be the dominant receiver, and I was willing to do that.
Pepsi pregame show. Marshall. Is this the day Marshall Faulk, after a quiet season for him, steps up? Well, no season's quiet for Jerry Rice, the ageless one, catching passes in Seattle. For the 29th time now, we're going to get to watch a playoff game in which Jerry Rice is playing. And Jerry is alive and well, and as you saw, catching passes for the Seahawks. Regular season playoffs, you name it. The receiving category, he's got all the records. Let's bring in Susie Kalber now from Seattle. And Suze, you know, despite everything that Jerry has done, I get the feeling he's still like a little kid at Christmas today, isn't he?
Well, Chris, of all the guys out here, who do you think is most fired up for the playoffs?
It's got to be Jerry. You can see it.
It is. It's Jerry Rice, the guy who's been doing this for 20 years, and he's still playing at age 42 because he loves it, and he doesn't believe that playing in Oakland or being traded to Seattle for a 7th-round pick diminishes his career at all. Like you said, he owns the NFL record books. What's important to him now is that he gets to decide when it's time to retire, even if that means that the ups come with some occasional downs.
It's been a little difficult because, you know, coming from Oakland, coming here, you know, and being back with Mike Holmgren and trying to fit in and trying to get to know the new guys and trying to learn the names, their positions. But overall, I think it's been great for me. You know, that fire is still burning. I enjoy what I do. I'm having so much fun right now. I know it's been a roller coaster ride, you know, all season long, but you know, we here in the playoffs, and it's a brand new season.
What are the butterflies like now as compared to when you first started?
It's still the same. You know, I can't sleep the night before, and I'm all excited and just all juiced up and thinking about what I have to do on the football field, and, you know, just running out on the field, hearing the crowd, and knowing that everything is on the line.
You're the all-time leader in so many postseason categories: games played, touchdowns, catches. What's the secret to standing out when the game is at its most intense?
I think, you know, just like being just like Michael Jordan. You know, you want the ball in your hand. You want to be the one to make that incredible catch. You want to be the one to win the game. And you know that, you know, if you don't make that catch, you got to be able to take the criticism that comes along with it. And a lot of guys don't want to be in those shoes, but, you know, I live for it.
You know, there's a lot of things great about Jerry Rice, but the thing that always impressed me about him is his work ethic.
What's the most important thing you can teach these young guys?
Just my preparation. I'm working hard. I'm trying to be more explosive downfield. I'm trying to make the real difficult catches, knowing that it's going to carry over to the game. And I'm sure the guys are watching, and they're going to catch on.
You've always said your body will tell you when it's time to go. So what's your body telling you now?
I'm still running fast.
Caught by Jerry Rice. Can you believe that?
No.
I'm still running fast, and I think, you know, the guys, you know, they look at me and they think I'm a freak or something because I can still run by defensive backs. I can still be productive over the middle, and I think it has a lot to do with the way I prepare, the way I love the game.
Jerry Rice scores the 125th touchdown, the 200th touchdown of his career.
A lot of people, you know, they're saying, you know, well, you might be the best football player to ever play the game. I would never say that, but I know that I put everything into it, and when I walk away from it, I'm not gonna question myself because I know it's over and it's time to move on.
Jerry, Susie, thank you very much. You add up everything he's done, all right? It's 1,600 catches, 25,000 yards. That's 14 miles, many from you, Steve. What keeps him going here?
Well, I think he's looking at one last record, the record of being the oldest player to ever play in the NFL. George Blanda did it at 48. I think Jerry has that in the back of his mind. Look for him today. He's going to be able to catch the ball in zones. He's going to be able to double move outside, and watch him also in the fourth quarter. His precision will do a great job breaking down defenses.
Well, and that'll be up to Matt Hasselbeck to try to find Jerry Rice. Can Hasselbeck and the Seahawks pass their way to a playoff victory? We'll be back.
Can they shut out the peripheral noise? Can they keep the baggage behind them? I don't think they can. I go to St. Louis.
I'm going with Seattle. I mean, no, you know what? Let me go there. I'll change St. Louis. Ooh. I'm going with Coach. You know why? Because they've won 2 games early this season. They have a psychological advantage. And when you beat a team twice, you know you can win the game. Whereas the team you beat twice, like Seattle, they hope they win the game. And in the playoffs, that's not good enough.
What do you guys know? Do you coach and play today in the NFL? I'm going with Seattle. Hey, the macro trends in the playoffs. If you're at home, you have a huge advantage. And then why can't they win? I don't see enough from the Rams to beat the Seattle Seahawks today.
So you're on Seattle. You know, sooner or later, minus 24 in turnovers, which are the Rams. Sooner or later, that's going to come back to bite you. And I think it will today with the Rams. And Seattle, third down, no huddle, I think. A little no huddle on third down for Seattle. That's just a guess, Steve. So I'm going to pick Seattle. So you have the Seahawks, I have Seattle. You have St. Louis, and you have the Rams. Well,
today's our day.
It should be fun. We will see you at halftime. Rams, Seahawks, kicking off the playoffs. Enjoy.
We're going to ball, we're going to score. The season is over for the St. Louis Rams.
In the postseason, there is no time. 1, but the present is 0-0.
As far as regular season records, that stuff is out the door.
We're in.
How exciting to get another chance at the Rams after losing to them twice.
Today, it gets real, as in do or die.
First time we played the Rams.
Forgot about the Rams?
I thought we were just going to blow them out.
Your mistake.
Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows something about.
The next thing you know.
The wheels fell off.
There have been some dark clouds over Seattle, but that's how lightning strikes.
Fight. We had 3 goals.
We have a lot more confidence.
Get in the playoffs.
We feel good.
Win the division.
A lot more swagger.
Go to the Super Bowl.
No past, just passion. The playoffs.
You lose, you go home.
Point blank.
More than 67,000 at Quest Field in Seattle, hoping to watch their Seahawks do something they haven't done since 1984, win a playoff game. And that's the longest drought in the NFL. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. It's great to have you with us. The St. Louis Rams swept this season series with the Seahawks, and in the process, they scored 56 points. Yes, the Rams are only 8-8. The defense isn't that great. Their special teams aren't, but you'd better be afraid of that offense. Joe, that offense can still outscore anyone.
Well, Mike, the thing is with Mike Martz, you can't just simply say to him, hey, coach, you're ruthless. He loves that. He likes to be called that. That's the type of play caller he is. His offense is fast and furious. He loves to put the ball down the field. Don't talk to him about 5-yard completions. Talk to him about 40-yard completions. The big thing about this football team, Mark Bulger threw for 450 yards last week. Mike, he may need every bit of those yards to win this game today.
All right, thanks, Joe. And for the Seahawks, it is a different formula. For them, you've got to go the ground, and one of the best in the game, Sean Alexander, Paul.
Well, Sean Alexander led the league with 20 touchdowns, and he almost gained 1,700 yards. He missed the rushing title by 1 yard. And against these Rams in 2 games, he ran for 326 yards. Now, I believe he has to get at least 140 yards in this game. If they do, they control the game, they control the clock, and they keep the Rams off the field. But most importantly, if he does that, they got to pray that the receivers make the catches.
Thank you, Paul. And when we come back, Susie Colbert joins us with one of the NFL's most successful coaches, Mike Holmgren. Now for our FedEx air and ground stats. Mark Bulger and Matt Hasselbeck, 2 quarterbacks with hot hands of late. And the running backs, the great Marshall Faulk against Sean Alexander, one of the most consistent backs in the NFL. Playoffs for the 2nd straight year under Mike Holmgren. He's with Susie right now.
Well, it's been a work in progress. Mike Holmgren, a Super Bowl winning coach, but has yet to win a playoff game here with Seattle in 6 years. How has that been for you?
Well, I take them a game at a time. I'd like to win it. I'd like to win one this year. It'd be very special. It's been 20 years since Seattle's won a playoff game. I think we're about due.
Rams beat you guys twice this year. What have you said to your players to convince them that they can beat the Rams today?
Well, I thought the game here, we had a game we could have won, Susie, and we didn't. But both games have been very competitive, and usually turnovers decide the game. Today will be no different.
What makes them so dangerous on offense?
Well, you know, they have great skill at their skill positions, and they really believe in what they're doing. So great players make great plays for them.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
All right, Susie, when we come back to Seattle, it's the Rams and the Seahawks as the playoffs begin.
To the following presentation of the National Football League.
Welcome back to a sold-out Quest Field in Seattle, the first game of the playoffs. The Rams have not been a good road team. The last 5 games away from St. Louis, 0-5, and they have been romps. The last time they won here in Seattle.
And this is an area on the special teams where the Rams, as prolific an offense as they have, as dynamic as they are offensively, their special teams have not been up to the standards. And so often in the playoffs, special teams make a huge difference.
They stink.
Okay, you said
their special teams stink.
They're not that good.
Josh Brown to kick to Avion Quezon.
They're ugly and they stink.
Hey.
The playoffs are underway in Seattle. Quezon from the 4. Taken down at the 24. Let's meet the Rams offense.
Mark Bulger, West Virginia University.
Marshall Faulk, San Diego State.
Joey Goodspeed, Notre Dame.
Torrey Big Game Holt, North Carolina State.
Isaac Bruce, University of Memphis.
Brandon Manumalayuna, Arizona.
Orlando Pace, The Ohio State University.
Tom Newton, Western Michigan University.
Andy McCollum, Toledo. Adam Timmerman, South Dakota State.
Blaine Saipia, Colorado State.
The downside of the kick return team is they don't get good field position. The upside is this offense doesn't need good field position. Mark Bulger, even though he missed 3 full games, nearly passed for 4,000 yards. Bulger out in the flat to Faulk, and he's pushed out of bounds. Let's take a look at the Seahawks defense.
Chike O'Keefe, Purdue. Cedric Woodard, Texas Longhorns. Rashad Moore, Huntsville, Alabama. Antonio Cochran.
I will try to get back to that defensive unit in a moment. That was no gain on the little dump-off pass to Faulk. And it's 2nd and 10 for the Rams. And listen to the crowd. Steven Jackson is into the backfield with Falk, and he goes in motion. Bulger with time. Falk out of the backfield. First down as he reaches the 37-yard line.
Well, the one thing about this Ram football team is that they give Mark Bulger an awful lot of time. Just take a look at the time that he has, and I'm going to tell you right now, Marshall Falk was not the primary receiver. Watch the time he has. He just looks in the pocket. There is a hole to throw the ball. Look at the hole. Bang, right on the arms of Marshall Falk, and he gets a first down. That's easy.
And Falk, for years, has been such a brilliant receiver as well as an outstanding running back. He'll go in motion this time. Bulger right on the money to Torrey Holt, and Torrey Holt to the 11-yard line.
Oh, this was unbelievable. Ken Lucas and Michael Boulware just got trapped with a void between them, the safety and the corner. Marshall Falk out in the flat gets that kind of attention. You see him outside of Torrey Holt. Now up the field. In the middle is Michael Boulware. Michael Boulware has been told, don't break on the ball till it's thrown. I don't believe he can be successful unless he tries to anticipate a little bit. If he's going to be caught in his back pedal all afternoon, it's going to be a long day for that Seattle defense.
52 yards for Torrey Holt, who is #1 all-time in yards per game for a receiver. He averages 85 a game, already has 52. Playoffs brought to you by Budweiser, the bright color and crisp, clean taste you'll only find in the king of beers. GMC Trucks and SUVs, we are professional grade. FedEx, official delivery sponsor of the NFL, and Wild Cherry Pepsi. Make this the wildest NFL playoffs ever with new Wild Cherry Pepsi. It's the cherry cold.
Mike, last time these two teams played in Seattle, Mike Martz started that game with 13 straight passes. Already today, he's thrown 3. So, I mean, that's what Mike Martz does. Now, Mike Holmgren on the other side, he would like to get his hands on the ball and control it a little bit more. But if Martz wants to keep on putting it up with this offense of his, he's going to force Mike Holmgren out of what he would like to do.
Well, what he needs to do is what he told us 2 days ago that he was going to do, and that's the blitz, Bulger. And you can't just send 5. You've got to send 6 and 7.
Steven Jackson is the running back. Bulger under pressure, and down he goes. Catavides, the middle linebacker, applied the pressure up the middle.
All right, just take a look. And here's what happens. This is a play-action pass here. But the linebacker, Catavides, doesn't stay with it. He just goes. And when he does...
Cheeky O'Keefer did a really nice job.
Cheeky O'Keefer.
He
doesn't sit on the line of scrimmage and wait. He goes right after Bulger. And this is what they have to do. They cannot sit back and wait.
Draw play, Jackson. Excellent pursuit by Seattle. They'll take him down at the 10-yard line. Marcus Trufant and Marquand Manuel on the tackle. Jackson, the rookie out of Oregon State, not only the heir apparent to Marshall Falk, but splitting time with him already.
You know, he may be the heir apparent, but very few running backs can bring to the game the versatility that Marshall Falk can do. Steven Jackson is a much bigger back. He's 25 pounds heavier than Marshall Falk, so you won't see him split out like Marshall can and does.
Isaiah Kazavinsky is the injured Seahawk. They have been devastated by injuries at the linebacker corps. We'll be back in a moment. Back in Seattle amid chants of defense. The Rams, 3rd and goal.
Flag down, delay. This on the offense.
Prior to the snap, false start, 76, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And that is their all-world left tackle, Orlando Pace.
And that is, as the fans are referred to here in Seattle, as the 12th man. The crowd noise here can be a big factor. We saw it on that play. It can also help Seattle's offense to slow down that pass rush once they get the ball.
We heard it in the opening.
I couldn't hear you in the opening. I don't know. It was so loud.
The Rams are going to take another timeout.
And that's 2 they have burned on the opening drive. We'll be back to Seattle in a moment. Usually we would say the noise is a huge factor because we're indoors, but we're outdoors and Mark Bulger cannot hear here in Seattle.
He's going to have to figure out a way possibly to cover the ear holes, maybe bend towards the ground to hear the communications from the sidelines better.
What? 7 defensive backs have checked in for Seattle. Bulger over the middle, touchdown, Torrey Holt. They needed 8 instead of 7.
It's amazing to me. I just don't think you can, with the receivers they have and with the ability of Mark Bulger to throw the football, the worst thing you can do is give him time. Torrey Holt just goes down and he's running in between the zones. Nobody lays a hand on him. He just goes flying right inside and on Babineau, and boom, touchdown.
They burned 2 timeouts. They had a couple of penalties. They had a sack. But in the end, Bulger is 4 for 4 for 79 yards and a touchdown.
Did he make the catch, Mike? That's going to be the question.
Well, the fans went absolutely nuts, and what they were screaming at. And then Holmgren, actually, did he throw his flag? He had to.
Good catch for a touchdown.
They're going to see if Torrey Holt has possession of the ball when he goes into the end zone. There's the throw. There's the ball.
Oh, that's a catch.
Hadn't hit the ground yet, has it?
No, it hasn't.
When you just take a look at his left arm, and it's underneath the ball. Look at it underneath the ball.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Paul. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Right there, it looks like the top part of the football gets to the ground.
You better have something more conclusive than that play.
And that is the key, because it has been ruled a catch and a touchdown on the field, so they have to find enough to overturn that rule.
Yes. Irrefutable? Is that the word?
That's correct.
But I'll tell you what, the thing that sells this for Torrey Holt, and you really, give him a lot of credit, he got that left arm underneath the ball, and it just really looked like a catch. Here it comes again. Look at his left arm. Look at the ball.
Ball's on the ground.
The ball can hit the ground if the receiver has control. That is part of the rule.
I don't believe he ever really has control. I think the ball hits the ground right there. The ball is on the ground. He does not have control of the football. If I was reviewing this, I would think that it would be an incompletion.
I think it's a touchdown.
So do
Paul,
I.
you get the tiebreaker.
I think it's a touchdown because
Walt Coleman gets the tiebreaker.
Look at the end of this. Watch his hand underneath the ball.
Now he moves it.
His hand is under the ball the entire time.
All right, here you go. I think he moves his hand late, Paulie. See, the ball down. Now watch his right hand slide.
It would be nice after in the 23rd game that you got one right.
I'm trying. And I knew you wouldn't agree with me anyway, so what was the difference?
But I tell you what, it takes a lot to overturn these babies.
Well, Walt Coleman, now keep in mind, Walt Coleman was the official in the championship game a year ago when everybody did a lot of bumping and chucking. So, he was, and also the other thing we ought to note about this officiating crew, this crew has been together all year. It used to be all-star crews that would come in and do the playoffs, and I think that's a great decision by the league to be able to allow the men to work, get to know one another, and then work the playoffs together.
Torrey Holt saying, I got it.
You got the wrong hand under it, Torrey.
After reviewing the play, the receiver caught the ball. The ball did touch the ground, but the ball never moved, so it's a completed catch for a touchdown.
I think it's a good call.
I would tell you, the ball hits the ground, but Michael even explained it to you before and to everyone. As long as he has control of the football, the ball can hit the ground. And that was just great work by Torrey Holt. That's why he's a Pro Bowler, and that's why he catches everything in the area. But the thing that really gets me is and in 2 pass platters to him, how can he be that open?
Well, I did say it hit the ground. No, you're right. I mean, I just don't believe, and we saw both routes that the big catch for 52 yards and the touchdown. I just don't believe that Seattle can sit in a zone against these receivers and this quarterback.
This is the most exquisitely designed passing game in the NFL.
Ruthless.
Jeff Wilkins for the point after. The Rams open fast the way they normally do. It's 7-0 in Seattle. St. Louis with the first quarter lead, 75 yards on only 6 plays, 3 minutes and 27 seconds. It did cost them 2 timeouts, and Seattle loses 1 as well, and a challenge.
It doesn't matter how many timeouts St. Louis has.
No, never has.
It really doesn't.
No, they ought to just care. Mike ought to just like sell them. You know, eBay. Put them on eBay for next week if somebody wants to purchase one of the Rams timeouts.
Morris and Evans are deep. Morris shy of the 30. Let's meet the Seahawks offense.
Matt Hasselbeck is very embarrassed. Boston. Sean Alexander, the University of Alabama.
Max Strong, Georgia.
Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley State University.
The Exact, Florida Gate.
Itula Mili, Lafayette Elementary.
Walter Jones, Florida State.
Steve Hutchinson, Michigan.
Rob Toback, Wazoo.
Chris Gray, Auburn University. Florida Womack, Mississippi State.
Well, the Rams have come out and done what they do best. Now will Seattle feed the ball to Shaw and Alexander to start it off? Hasselbeck to throw on first down. Has a little bit of pressure. Throws knocked up in the air and intercepted. Darrell Jackson had a hand on it, and it is intercepted by the Rams' Travis Fisher, and that has been the bane of Seattle's passing attack all year. Dropped balls.
The final thing I said in the opening was, and pray that the receivers can hold on to the football. Look at this. This ball hits him right in the hands. It's a magnificent interception. But I'll tell you what, you got to get tired as a quarterback throwing to these receivers and have them drop as many balls as they drop.
Especially when you hit them right in between the numbers. You have to keep throwing, but you're right, Paul.
And the Rams had only 6 interceptions all year long. That ties for the worst ever in a non-strike season. So what a way for their secondary to start the playoffs. Jackson is the tailback. Cuts it outside after a hesitation. Takes it to the 35-yard line.
You know, it almost looks like Seattle defensively on the line has decided that they don't want to try and penetrate to put pressure. It's like they take a step or so, they're waiting for the Rams to set into pass protection and then try and knock the ball down. They're not really getting any pressure on Mark Bulger at all.
Mike Holmgren told us a couple of days ago, he said, let me tell you something. We cannot get to this guy with 4 people. We cannot get to this guy with 4 people. They've got to send some people, and they've got to send it from the outside.
3 wide receivers, Kevin Curtis, the 3rd man in the slot. Bulger, pump fake. Down the sideline for a hold, and that one is intercepted at the 2. Picked off by Ken Hamlin, the safety. Came over in double coverage, and the secondary that had 23 picks during the regular season gets a huge one here.
Mark Bulger just doesn't get the separation. He tries to pump fake and move Hamlin, but he doesn't. Ken Lucas is staying with him, just goes up, he gets the ball, makes the interception.
Big defensive stand by Seattle. They dodge a big bullet. Welcome back to Seattle, where the Seahawks will take over at their own 4-yard line after the interception. Mark Bulger still hasn't had a pass hit the ground, but unfortunately for him, that was caught by Seattle.
Listen to this. In 4.5 minutes, we've had 3 timeouts, 1 challenge, 2 interceptions, and a touchdown. Hello!
And we just started.
That's right, 4.5 minutes.
And we've only got 4. That's right. Now, do you come out and run the football, or you try and throw it again?
Quick out to Jackson. Jeremetrius Butler is there to help him down at the 10.
So often what makes an interception is teammates. Watch the job Ken Lucas does. See him down the bottom just long enough to force Holt to hesitate to allow Ken Lucas to get over to make the play. See him just enough to make him to hesitate. That's a terrific job of a corner and a safety working together. High risk, high reward.
Sean Alexander for a couple up to the 7. That'll leave them a 3rd and 2. Jimmy Kennedy on the stop for the Rams. 1 yard short of winning the NFL rushing title. 1,696 yards, a single yard behind Curtis Martin.
You know, and that thing's all in the past now. And if you take a look at Sean Alexander, where they really love to run is to the left, where Walter Jones, the all-pro tackle, is.
Hasselbeck throws and incomplete. Jackson continued straight down the field, and Hasselbeck threw inside.
How about this when you're not even looking? If you're Darrell Jackson, you come off the line, the quarterback's going to throw you the football. You don't even see it go past you. I mean, you talk about a guy not having his head in the game. This is phenomenal. Now, granted, he's been hurt a lot, hasn't practiced much in 6 weeks, but still, it's game time.
There have been some odd things with wide receivers out here. Sean McDonald waits at his own 44 for Ken Walter's punt. Driven all the way back to the 41. Still looking for a block. And taken out of bounds at the 40. A long way to run to lose a yard. Let's check in with Susie.
Well, Mike, what an eventful start for Mark Bulger. 4 of 5 for 79 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He admitted as recently as October he still felt overwhelmed with the game plan. Today, it is 300 plays thick. Consider, though, this just his first full season as a starter. This is the most complex offense in football. Mark's telling us last night the metamorphosis this season, incredible. Mark is seeing everything, doing things in the game that Mark's never thought he could do. And Mark explaining he used to be mentally drained, now it's just physical.
Susie, it's amazing to listen to Mike Martz say, not only can I compare him with Kurt Warner, but he's better than Kurt Warner. Jackson picks up a couple. Torrey Holt told us there's more behind Bulger's quiet demeanor than we see.
Mark is a very competitive guy, very competitive. It's funny, he's cool and calm, and that's good. I call him lukewarm. That's good. You got to have that in with your quarterback, but he's very confident, and he works on being the best teammate and player that he can be to help us.
Torrey Holt's a very interesting guy, and he's very bright guy.
The Bulger said if he wants to call me lukewarm, that's okay.
Bulger straight back to throw. There's the out, and because Isaac Bruce fell down, Trufant actually had a shot at the pick and couldn't hold it.
Now this is what you're going to see. This footing will be different for the Ram receiver. You see Isaac Bruce push up. If this is in the dome, his right foot does not slip out. Marcus Trufant almost gets his hand on this one, but now all of a sudden, Isaac Bruce has to think to himself, all right, I have to be a little more cautious when I come out of my breaks. It may be dry, but it's not that great a footing.
3rd and 8.
Here they come. They have to come.
Protected well, Curtis, and a flag down. Intended for Kevin Curtis. He never saw it. But this is going to be a hold, I believe, against the Seattle secondary.
Holding, 21, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Ken Lucas.
I talked to Ray Rhodes yesterday at practice, the defensive coordinator of the Seahawks. He told me he wants his young corners to challenge these wide receivers. Now, remember, this is the playoffs. It was because of the playoffs that there was a rule emphasis change when it came to dealing with wide receivers. And, you know, Ray Bob, as he's affectionately called by his teammates, says, hey, look, I want you guys to go out and challenge him.
Well, that time they sent 6 guys, and they made Bulger throw the ball when he didn't want to throw the ball. They can't sit there 4 guys can't get off this line of scrimmage and get to the quarterback.
Boy, the crowd saw that replay and did not like the call at all. End around to Isaac Bruce.
Oh, Chad Brown. Chad Brown.
Beautifully played by Chad Brown.
Let me tell you something. If you're going to run an end around, that is not a reverse, folks. That's an end around. And if you're going to run it, don't run it at the veteran Chad Brown. Run it someplace else. Watch number 94 stay home, and then come back inside and make the tackle. There's a guy that they have missed for a long time. They have had so many injuries in the linebacking position. They actually had, at one time, 3 middle linebackers playing, 2 of them outside, 1 inside.
And we saw Kazavinsky go down earlier in this quarter for him.
Chad Brown in his 12th year still has that great motor. Marshall Faulk trying to cut it up from the right side. He's in Seattle territory at the 47. Michael Boulware made the tackle. Marshall Faulk, obviously not the player he once was. Career lows in carries, 195, and only 3 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I don't even remember Marshall Faulk this year. I remember all the other years.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you
You're
what.
right.
But I think if the Rams are going anywhere in the playoffs, he's going to have to make his presence felt.
3rd and 4. And Bulger caught by the middle of that pass rush and dragged down. Rocky Bernard and Chad Brown coming up the middle.
Michael, sorry, but this is what they really have to do. Now, Chad Brown's the number 94 is coming up the middle. But look in the middle of the field. Rocky Bernard, 99, is the first guy that gets there. Yes, you did. And that's what you have to do with Bulger. You've got to take him out of any kind of a rhythm that he gets into.
And Rocky's obviously been up all night working on that little celebration. I like that. Bobby Ingram will go deep to take the punt. Takes a good Seattle bounce. Out of bounds near the 25-yard line. Seattle has stood up a couple of times on defense. Can they get their offense going? A doubleheader. The NFL's top rusher, Curtis Martin, will lead the Jets against Drew Brees, LaDainian Tomlinson, and the AFC West champion Chargers. Next here on ABC. And 2 outstanding running backs who had brilliant seasons. Curtis Martin led the NFL, wanted to show that a back over 30 can still get it done. Boy, did he ever. And LaDainian led the league in rushing touchdowns.
I think LaDainian Tomlinson is the best back in football.
From the 25. Alexander picks up 5 to the 30.
That was an excellent call by Mike Holmgren. He needs to settle his football team down. The first pass that was thrown, bounces up in the air, was intercepted. The last time they had the ball on 3rd down, you throw it to Darrell Jackson, he's not looking. Slow this game down. You cannot go throw to throw with the Rams. You're going to lose if you try and match up that way against them.
2nd and 5. Alexander nowhere to go. Then he cuts it back. Sean Alexander turned a loss of 5 into a gain of 5.
Leonard Little, number 91, is a great defensive end. He's got all the speed in the world, but watch what he does. Number 91, right there, he goes running by. He gets himself too far down the line of scrimmage. Here, you'll see him right here. 91 is Leonard Little. Watch him go by Alexander. Now, Alexander comes back. He knocks off his own man, and Alexander picks up 4 yards. If you're that, when you're that fast and you got that great speed, and we've seen a lot of them, man, I'm going to tell you what, you got to learn how to stay at home.
3rd and inches. Seattle still looking for its first down with 5:43 on the first quarter clock.
If you go back a week ago when it was 3rd and inches on the goal line, Mike Holmgren called the quarterback sneak. Didn't give it to Sean Alexander. I'd be surprised if he doesn't sneak this one as well with his big young quarterback.
And it was amazing to have people criticize him for that. His first job is to win games. If a quarterback sneaks the best call, that's what he called.
Needed to win to be able to play here in Seattle.
The middle is open. All he has to do is just step forward. He got a 1st down.
Alexander will get it and have the 1st down. Let's check in with Susie as flag drops.
Oh, man, you got holding. He's calling it on the defense. They're calling defensive holding on a running play.
Holding, 79, defense. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
That's Ryan Pickett. Now let's check in with Susie.
Well, Mike, the thought is, why the heck wouldn't you be running Sean Alexander? He's been a wrecking crew against the Rams this season. Week 5, 150 yards rushing. Week 10, 176. That total is the most yards rushing for any player against any team this season. Adam Archuleta called it the biggest slap in the face for a defense. That's how you forge your identity, by stopping the run. Sean does a great job of finding the holes, and when he reaches that third level, hits a safety, forget it.
And yet, Susie, the coaches are well aware that in spite of that success on the ground, they lost the first 2 games. And in the second game, they only scored 1 touchdown.
But Sean Alexander gives you, which every quarterback and every offense wants. On first down, when he runs the ball, he gets about at least 4. Now you're sitting in that position of 2nd and 6, where you can do almost anything you want.
Yeah, and the problem is you throw it to your receivers, you're crossing your fingers and hope they catch it.
It's true.
They have not thrown a pass anywhere close to Jerry Rice so far. Everything has gone to the other side, to Jackson. We have not seen Corn Robinson. Hasselbeck. First down and more to the Rams, 38-yard line. Gain of 17.
I'll tell you, this is heads up. But I'm going to tell you something. Just take a look at what Matt Hasselbeck does here. He sees there's no place to go, and he steps up and gets the first down. But I'm going to tell you what's amazing. Darrell Jackson runs downfield. Watch him. He never looks back at the quarterback. Look at this. He never looks back. Not once.
Now remember before, when he threw it to him, he wasn't looking. Darrell Jackson needs something to get his head in this game.
Alexander. Well, didn't that last one tell you he's not the primary receiver? And he does. I'm not excusing it, but he's not the primary receiver, so he's not paying attention.
But Mike, forget about it. Sooner or later, if you're a football player and you're in between those lines, you got to turn around. Especially if you are a receiver when a pass is called.
I understand.
That was hard for me to believe. I'm watching him run down the field, and he never turned his head. I'm thinking, what are you doing?
And here's a guy they invested a lot of money in.
And he's had a whale of a year, 87 catches, almost 1,200 yards. They'll whistle this one dead, and it looked like Porchop Womack, the right tackle, moved early.
Prior to the snap, false start, 77, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Let's take a look at the Rams defense.
Leonard Little, Tennessee.
Ryan Pickett, The Ohio State University.
Jimmy Kennedy, Penn State.
Anthony Hargrove, Port Charlotte High School.
Tommy Pollard, Florida State.
Robert Thomas, UCLA.
Pisatino Samoa, Hawaii.
Demetrius Butler, Dallas Carter High School.
Adam Archuleta, Arizona State.
Antoine Edwards, Clemson.
Travis Fisher, Godby High School.
2nd and 14, and Antoine Edwards, one of a half dozen guys they've had playing free safety. They picked him up from the Dolphins in the middle of the year. Hasselbeck under pressure, throws short to Jackson, and Jackson pushed out of bounds by Fisher.
Now this is heads-up play by the quarterback, and this was all done by him. Matt Hasselbeck steps up. He could have thrown a little dump pass to his left, but he knew that wasn't going anywhere. Watch him. He'll look. Now he sees the left. Now I'm not going to go there. And hold on. Here's the line of scrimmage. Let me get it back to Jackson.
And so often quarterbacks, as they scramble around, they lower their heads and decide to run. He did a nice job of disciplining himself, looking downfield, knowing where everybody is, and getting the ball out of his hand.
Third down and a long yard. Alexander was the man who went in motion. Hasselbeck tipped up in the air and incomplete. Tulamili got a hand on it. Jeremetrius Butler came in and nearly had the pick.
You know, I want to go back to the beginning of that play, guys. Darrell Jackson didn't know where to line up on that play. Now there's the throw. There's the right arm around. Everybody's calling for a flag. Mealy does a good job of finding it and almost getting it. Watch this. Now they had to tell Darrell Jackson where to go in this formation. He's just not in this game. You know, now he runs the route, and he decides to look this time, which is a novelty for him.
Well, that's really odd, isn't it? Josh Brown will try a 47-yard field goal attempt. And got it. So Seattle overcomes some mistakes on that drive to get a field goal and get on the board down 7-3. Wild card weekend, of course, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Vikings, and the Packers. And the Eagles host the lower seed a week from now. The Falcons will host the higher seed in the NFC. And of course, I don't think there is a single team in there that has a lock on anything or a single team that can't win the entire NFC.
I think the Philadelphia Eagles have become the great question mark because since Terrell Owens got hurt, they have not had to play a meaningful football game. So you really don't know how they're going to react. So you just are not sure what you're going to get out of it. I mean, Green Bay could catch on fire. Heck, if the Rams come out and play like they did on the first drive, they could be unbelievable.
I'll tell you one thing about Philadelphia, though. You're going to see some defense.
I know one thing. Andy Reid is not excited about getting to the NFC Championship game without going to the next level.
That's right.
If he can get his ball club there. And then how about Michael Vick? The Vick factor. You know, who stops him maybe?
Avion Cason is deep for the Rams. High, short kick. Cason on the run at the 8. Runs into his own man, then runs into a swarm of Seattle defenders. Let's check in with Susie.
Well, we got a little taste of why they call Torrey Holt. Big game, already a touchdown today. First receiver in NFL history with 5 straight 1,300-yard seasons. He told me that it represents so much hard work, dedication, and fulfillment because it's what he dreamed about since he was a little kid. Watching Jerry Rice, Art Monk, Lynn Swann, and to be the first in history to do something when all those guys had paved the way. Man, he says an unbelievable feeling, and he wants to thank all of them for inspiring him to be the receiver he is today.
And now Susie's breaking all their records.
Well, you're not going to break Jerry Rice's record.
Not for longevity, you're not. Jackson dancing a little bit. Takes it up to the 28-yard line. He is #1 in NFL history. Yards per game. 85 yards a game over Moss, Harrison, and Jerry Rice is 4th, and all those guys, thanks to Rice's longevity, are contemporary.
One of the thing about these stats, to me, which is quite unique, is every one of them is still active. It's not one of the guys that happened that has played before. Every one of those are active players.
Holt and Bruce both come to the same side. Jackson behind Goodspeed, lowers his shoulder, takes it up near the 32-yard line.
Wait a minute, you know, I'm watching 4 or 5 running plays now. Calm down, Joseph.
No.
That March yesterday said the only way you win in the National Football League, touchdowns come from throwing the ball, not running the ball.
But it's interesting, Mike's philosophy. He likes to change the tempo of a game. He starts out real fast. Now he slows it down, sort of lulls you back in, and then all of a sudden here comes the explosion. The game for him has a psychology, and for Mike Holmgren, it's a bit more methodical.
Well, they got 6 defensive backs in the game, and you better send at least one of them.
3rd and 3. Blitz coming. They pick it up, and Bulger throws complete to Holt. First down at the 45. Mike Martz, a lightning rod for criticism, but boy, is he fun to watch run an offense, especially this offense.
Well, and you look at here, you got Torrey Holt one-on-one, and every time that Bulger sees this matchup, you can be assured that he's going to throw the ball there.
That's the end of the first quarter. The Rams over the Seahawks 7-3. ABC's NFL Wild Card Saturday continues after this message and a word from our ABC station. Qwest Field in Seattle. Beautiful weather for a playoff game. We have been blessed. No rain, no snow, more moderate temperatures, and St. Louis doing what it does best, racking up 115 yards in the first quarter, and the Rams have reached their own 45, 1st and 10. Bulger going deep again. This one for Curtis to the 5.
Boy, are they picking on Michael Boulware, number 28, the rookie safety who has converted himself from a linebacker to a safety, and the conversion is still in process. That time Mark Bulger just looked off. Michael Boulware was just flat-footed.
I don't care. I don't care who's running the patterns. It matters who's throwing it. Look at the blocking of this offensive line. You got 4 guys that aren't even close to him, and he has all day to find your wide receiver Curtis down the middle of the field and let it fly.
6 for 8, 142 yards in 1 quarter and 1 play for Bulger. Marshall Faulk near the 1.
Now keep in mind, Mark Bulger threw for 450 against the Jets just 6 days ago. And to watch him mature, people, I think, have to understand the complexity of the offense that is run and the rhythm that he has with the receivers. This offense has no audibles in it. Everything is sight adjusted. And what I mean by that is the receivers and the quarterback have to see the same thing to make adjustments on the routes. Great discipline, great study habits are required to be able to do that.
Faulk, touchdown. Walked in from the 2. Joey Goodspeed led him into the hole, and there was nobody left to touch Marshall Faulk.
You could talk about their defense, the Rams. You could talk about their special teams. But look at, you see Goodspeed's block there, but you take a look at this offensive line and what they're doing. I mean, they just play. You talk about 5 guys play as one. They actually play as one.
This is what Marshall Faulk lives for, though. To be in the playoffs, to be a part of the offense. We saw him get the ball in the first 2 plays of the game. Mike Martz has made an excellent decision getting him involved early.
Jeff Wilkins for the point after. Both touchdown drives for the Rams, 75 yards in 6 plays, and they have a 14-3 lead. Mark Bulger has already had a big first half, and he has led Seattle, or St. Louis rather, to a 14-3 lead over Seattle. That drive took only 3:33, and Faulk capped it off with a touchdown run.
When the drives have 50-yard passes in them, it doesn't take very long or a lot of plays to get where you want to go.
Well, that's been the hallmark of this team. They don't take very long, and all year long this has been one of the points in the game when they start to dominate, that something really silly happens on special teams. Morris out to the 28, and the flag comes in at the end of it. We'll check that in a second.
That's Michael Boulware right there. I want you to watch the route of Kevin Curtis, and then you look at Mark Bulger. He's going to look off to the left, so he's going to move number 28. There's the pump. The safety gets turned. Remember, he's a linebacker. His hips aren't going to be real quick. He isn't the center fielder he is, and he's a rookie. He's a rookie who's playing a new position, and this is only his 5th start.
And all it takes is one step in the other direction to open up enough of a lane.
And these are not the receivers that you want to practice trying to figure out where they're going to go and anticipate routes.
Well, Michael Boulware also told us yesterday, when we're sitting there talking, or the day before yesterday, we were talking to him. He said, you know, I can't take any false steps. He said, and so far in this game, he has done it twice where he's taken false steps. And the false steps was exactly what Joe was talking about. When Bulger pumps, if he even flinches going towards the middle, he's done.
And he's a very bright young man, and he will get it. Hasselbeck throwing underneath. That one's behind Ingram and incomplete. And Hasselbeck very slow to get up. Ingram had a season high a week ago, 6 catches, 79 yards. Really bailed out their passing game.
Here comes Hargrove, number 95. I believe this is the guy that's going to hit him.
You know what? That's got to be roughing.
Kind of doubled him.
It's supposed to be roughing. Once the quarterback lets the ball go, you're only allowed a step. You can't hit him. I mean,
You're right.
That should have been roughing the quarterback if they're going to be consistent with the calls that have gone all year.
They didn't hit him in the head.
Doesn't matter.
Hasselbeck. This one, he's got it complete over the middle. That's his tight end, Atula Mealy.
I'll tell you what, he threw this about as hard as he could throw a football. He sees Mealy coming across the middle. Watch him wind up, Hasselbeck, and throw this thing. Wham! And he had to get it there.
Boy, you saw that go right under Ryan Pickett's arm, number 79.
It's almost like if you can't catch him, I'm going to make the next one stick to you. Corin Robinson is in for the first time. He is number 81, the super talented wide receiver for the Seahawks. Hasselbeck all day to throw. Gets this one to Jackson, and Jackson to the 48.
This ball, I believe, is tipped. Now, Darrell Jackson has had problems focusing. It looks like he's into the game now, and that happens to people sometimes. You get a little out of sync. But watch this. He's working. This ball gets tipped, and he still manages to focus. Darrell Jackson is back into this football game. Yep, does get tipped.
First down, Seahawks. Alexander into Rams territory at the 48-yard line. Corin Robinson is a player that a lot of people say has just such extreme talent, and they've been upset with Mike Holmgren for what they perceive as coddling a former #1 draft choice. Mike Holmgren, in his defense, cares more about this young man as a human being than he does as a football player, although he would love to see him produce as that. He has been suspended twice by the team for violating team rules. He has been suspended by the NFL for violating league rules, and they are just hoping that somehow at some point he is going to get it.
Well, they've spotted him playing, but a bigger problem for the Seahawks right now is Shaun Alexander has come off the field dangling his left shoulder. He took a shot on that last running play, or the forearm. He gets hurt right on this play. That's Archuleta coming flying up in there. And then he gets pounded on top of it.
And that leaves Maurice Morris, the third-year player out of Oregon, as the tailback. And as good as he might be, he is no Shaun Alexander. There is Morris fighting for extra yardage and has it inside the 40.
I'll tell you what, old Maurice is Maurice. He's not Shaun Alexander, he's Maurice. And Maurice picks up a first down. And by driving his legs and not stopping.
We talked about Shaun Alexander. Shaun averaged 4.8 yards a carry. Maurice averaged 4.2. So they can run the football. The Seahawks are a very balanced offense, and we're seeing it here. A great mixture of run and pass.
At the 38 with 10 minutes, 12 seconds to go, second quarter. Morris, this is going to be a hold or a block in the back. And it looked like it was the massive left tackle Walter Jones, the guilty party.
I'll tell you what, if it's Walter Jones, you can't miss
Holding,
it.
86, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
They'll give it to Jeremy Stevens, the tight end, but they threw it right at the feet of Walter Jones. And if Shaun Alexander cannot come back in the ball game, it would be a crushing loss, not only for this game, but any other playoff games they might be fortunate enough to be in this year. I mean, just look at the numbers.
Well, he's got 15-plus touchdowns. You see 16, 18, 16, 20. But no one in the history of football has had 15-plus touchdowns in 4 consecutive years. I mean, that's unbelievable.
And 4 of them have been receiving, so he's a very important part of their passing attack as well.
Hasselbeck with a quick out. That's only going to pick up a couple to Bobby Ingram.
And this offense, the Seattle Seahawks offense, isn't like the Rams offense. They don't throw the ball down the field as far or as much or as often as the Rams do. So to pick up 20 yards, it's going to take a good 3 or 4 plays. Now Mike Holmgren's forced to call in a deeper route than he normally would like to.
And it almost, with Shaun Alexander out, Joe, it almost eliminates the play action.
2nd and 17 from the 45. Hasselbeck straight back. Good protection. Underneath to Corn Robinson, who fumbles the football.
And it fell right in between his legs. Oh, man.
Boy, now you've got Robbie Tobeck going after one of the Rams after the play. It looked like Tino Samoa, the linebacker.
It was.
You know what? I like the way the officiating crew is calling this game. We've seen instances where anytime a lineman would go after somebody on a pile, the flag would instantly come out. The officials are doing a nice job of controlling this game, but letting the guys play with emotion.
All right, here, see Samoa. You see him, number 50. He's right there. And Tobeck comes up and just nails him. Well, that was after that.
Boy, it was a real break for Corn Robinson that ball bounced right back into his tummy. And now Matt Hasselbeck will use Seattle's second time out of the first half. The hardest working pregame show on television is Chris Berman and the gang. Get you ready for all the day's action on NFL Countdown at 11 a.m. Eastern. Then after the games at 10 Eastern, NFL Primetime with all the highlights from the first round to the playoffs. A full day of NFL coverage Sunday on ESPN. Sean Alexander has a left wrist injury. His return is questionable. They are seeing if he can grip a football and hang on to it. The other injury of note, Jackson, who splits time with Marshall Faulk for the Rams, has bruised ribs. His return is questionable.
So here's what happens for the Seattle Seahawks. You get Maurice Morris, who is just in his third year, if Sean can't play. And if you're the Rams, if Steven Jackson can't go, you get Marshall Faulk in a more full-time role.
Let's see, the edge would be...
Yeah, I think so.
Seattle.
Yeah, you would think that.
The younger guy.
On the previous play, due to the fight, we stopped the game clock. After a game clock stoppage, we must reset the play clock to 25 seconds, which did not happen. We will give Seattle their timeout back.
Oh, isn't that nice? Now that's generous.
It's Christmas, right? It's Christmassy.
All right, there's Sean Alexander. And I'll tell you what, you got another hand to carry the ball in, he's going to be in. I mean, there's like, this is it.
What do you know?
This is it, man. I mean, unless you physically can't walk on this field.
What do you know about carrying the ball?
Are you kidding?
Third down for Hasselbeck, four-man rush. Over the middle, tipped up in the air and picked off again. Intercepted by DeJuan Gross. There is a flag down in the secondary. That looked like a face mask on Tommy Polley.
I'll tell you, this is a clothesline because he hits Morris right in the mouth and in the helmet. This is arm to helmet. And they're gonna not only are they gonna get the ball there, it's gonna be a 15-yard penalty.
Does it happen before the interception or after? There's the question. Does it
happen before the interception? That's how the ball ended up back up in the air.
It was intended for Morris.
All right, take a look at it here. Here comes the ball in the air. Boom, Paulie hits him right there. There's no interception yet, and that's a face mask. The ball was still live.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, number 57 of the defense, while the pass was in the air. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot and a first down.
They're calling it on Trev Faulk and not 52 Tommy Polley, and it's a huge call because it's a first down for the Seahawks.
And it would have been a first down for the Rams with the second interception of the game.
Yeah, this was an outstanding, well, I mean, it was kind of an easy call to make, and here comes Sean Alexander. Here's the play. Just take a look at, watch this, across the mouth, and that ball is still being tipped up in the air. So actually the infraction is right here by Faulk.
Now you've got a guy who's caught 9 passes all year trying to go in a playoff game and step up. A lot to ask.
Alexander is back in on 1st and 10. Hasselbeck steps up, throws underneath Ingram, touchdown.
Bobby Ingram is a difference maker for this football team because he is Matt Hasselbeck's favorite, really his favorite target. This guy missed some games, and when he was out, they had some problems. When Bobby Ingram's in the game, it makes a big difference. Number 84 is Bobby Ingram coming across. Look at this. That is just a perfect pass and the great catch.
Bobby Ingram had some really good years in Chicago. After he tore up a knee, they thought he was done there. But Bobby Ingram can still play the game and made a huge play right there for a 19-yard touchdown catch in the playoffs. Sees coverage of the NFL playoffs brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. Nissan, everything we touch, we shift, and everything we shift, we try and make better. Bud Light, fresh, smooth, real, it's all here. And Cialis, ask your doctor if a free sample of Cialis is right for you. Today's aerial coverage is provided by Anheuser-Busch. Quest Field in Seattle, where the Seahawks are back into the ballgame, courtesy of Bobby Ingram's 19-yard touchdown catch. Low line drive kick. Avion Cason from the 1. And take it out at the 17. Timeout with 8:14 to go first half. Back in a moment. Back in Seattle with two head coaches, both of whom believe in the pass, but in widely differing varieties of passing attack. Mike Martz was the offensive coordinator for Dick Vermeil when the Rams won a Super Bowl. Mike Holmgren won his Super Bowl in Seattle. It's West Coast versus vertical.
Don't you love just talking to both of them, though? I mean, they're almost opposites. But when you sit, Martz is sitting there with that little smile on his face, you know he's got something up his sleeve.
They're almost to the point of eccentrics when it comes to their offensive philosophies. They believe in it so much.
Steven Jackson is back in for the Rams, goes to the slot in the near side, so they have 5 wide receivers. 4-man rush for Seattle. Bulger underneath, Curtis to the 31-yard line. That will be enough for a first down. And Kudavides, the middle linebacker, had to make the tackle, and Kevin Curtis, the wide receiver.
When they split them out like that, now you've got 4 defensive linemen on 5 people. They don't have a chance, the defensive line.
Mark Bulger just slides around a little bit. Kevin Curtis, they really went looking for somebody to take Oz Akim's spot when he left for Detroit a few years ago. And Kevin Curtis has seemed to have been the one to step up and fill that third receiver role.
Said that Mike Holmgren won his Super Bowl in Seattle. Obviously, it was in Green Bay. Bulger behind Isaac Bruce and nearly picked off on the tip by Kazavinsky.
Isaac is saying, hey, Marcus Truafont is, pushing me around. That's what Ray Rhodes wants, the defensive coordinator of Seattle. He doesn't want his young corners to sit back there and say, oh, boy, that's Torrey Holt. Ooh, Isaac Bruce, I can't touch him. No, he said, go after him.
I'm moving down here by you, Mike.
Would they really make those noises, Joe?
Well, maybe.
That's scary.
Maybe. See, I told you.
You got to lay off the coffee, man.
2nd and 10. Blitz coming. They pick it up. Bulger with a lot of time. Now he's pressured and throws it away.
There's a flag on the play, and it's going to be holding. There's another flag downfield also at the 40-yard line. And that in that area.
That's holding.
That's right. And at the line of scrimmage, that's holding the other way.
I don't think this play is ever going to happen.
I'll tell you what's amazing is just to sit there and watch Bulger sit in that pocket and really not move. And he doesn't, he doesn't care.
We have fouls on both teams. Illegal contact, 94 defense. We have a personal foul, chop block on the offense. Those penalties offset. Repeat, 2nd down.
Now you want to see a rule change, a chop block where you can eliminate a guy forever in the game against a holding penalty. And I'm going to tell you what.
I do believe the competition committee will take some time to look at the way the defensive linemen have been taken out over this year. Definitely something that I'm sure they'll consider. But right now, the bigger challenge really lies for these corners for the Seattle Seahawks. They're getting physical, but you don't want to miss Torrey Holt or Isaac Bruce or Kevin Curtis going down the field.
So basically that was no play at all. 2nd and 10 all over again. Jackson out in the flat, took his eyes off of it and dropped it. He saw Kaczynski about the same time he saw the football.
If Kaczynski has 2 good elbows, remember he went out earlier and was hurt. Now this one's wrapped up really tight. I don't think he ever really focuses on the ball. He's trying to make the tackle, and you see him not make the catch.
This Seattle crowd has not seen a playoff victory since 1984. Talk about hungry. These people are starving to death.
And listen to them. I mean, it's unbelievable.
3-man rush, and Bulger fits it into Isaac Bruce to the Seattle 49. A perfect throw and a gain of 22.
Boy, I'll tell you, you want to talk about a perfect throw. He throws this thing over 2 defenders in 2 different positions. Look down the middle of the field and to the right. Watch this. There goes one, there goes the other one. 2 defenders go up in the air, and this ball was thrown in perfectly.
You can drop 9, and he's going to get it in and rush 2. The thing you can't do with Mark Bulger is give him time to throw the football. You've got to pressure him. Paul, you keep mentioning it. It's something they're going to have to do.
They're not getting there with 4.
Double pump, tries to run, got back near the line of scrimmage.
Mark Bulger has been on fire in this first half against the Seattle defense. Young man out of West Virginia does a real nice job of throwing different types of passes. What he does is he arcs it, and then when he gets an opportunity in the middle of the football field, he guns it. He sees the field so well that he is able to judge whether he wants to put trajectory on it or he wants to try and fire it in. 2 completions, 4 attempts for 9 yards. Look at the completions over 10 yards. 6 of 8.
Here they come.
They've already gotten to him 3 times. Bulger throws this one out of bounds. McDonald was the closest man to it. It will be 3rd and 11.
Well, I'll tell you, this shows you what happens when you put the blitz on Bulger. First thing he sees when he sees the blitz, so watch him move to his left. Here comes the blitz. He knows he's got to get out. So when he moves out, the only thing he can do now is just throw the ball away. This is what I don't care. You got to put these guys, the corners and safeties, on islands, and you've got to send 7 people.
And Tom Newton, his starting left guard, who already had a bad knee, came up limping after that play. And the Rams don't have much wiggle room in the offensive line. Another blitz. Bulger sidesteps and throws complete. Holt inside the 40, dives and should have the first down. Boy, did he know where those sticks were.
See, I don't care that they complete this pass here. They made Bulger step up. This was Torrey Holt coming back. But watch what Bulger does here. He sees blitz coming. They send the ball. He just steps up. And the guy that really makes this play is number 81, Torrey Holt. Watch him come back to him. Come back, come back, come back. Now I got the ball, and then he goes back and picks up the first down.
Well, they brought out the chains to measure.
He's got it.
And they do have it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to question you and your ability to see the difference in 2 inches from here.
I'm moving back over by Joe.
Different. 2 guys made great plays on that route. Mark Bulger with the pressure, sliding around, staying with the route, and then you saw the awareness of Torrey Holt. This is a guy that has football awareness, knows where he has to get to. First he catches the ball, then he works to get to first down.
First down just inside the Seahawks 39. Marshall Faulk. Nowhere to go, grinds out a couple. Let's check in with Susie.
Well, I talked to him before the game. He told me this is a season of transition from being the guy to sharing time with Steven Jackson to then Jackson getting the bulk of the load. He said the key now is just being ready to produce when he's called upon and guiding Steven without overstepping his bounds or overloading the rookie. He said he is always deeply involved in the offense, whether he's on the field or not. His approach will never change. Even if he was third string, he said that's just what's inside of him.
And Susie, you know the reason he's involved, he is so smart. He understands this offense as well as anybody. Blitz coming. They throw it out to Goodspeed, and now an official waves it off incomplete. Goodspeed was all the way out as a flanker back. Marshall Faulk is third behind Jim Brown and Barry Sanders in yards from scrimmage per game and ahead of Walter Payton. That is remarkable company, and that's because he was widely regarded as one of the best receivers, not just running backs, receivers in this game.
He's also so smart. He knows more about this offense than anybody else does, except Mike Martz.
Bulger with a man in his face. Bruce thought he was hit early, and no flag.
And that is what the Seattle Seahawks are going to have to do defensively. They're going to have to let Trufant and Lucas, as the corners, step up and make plays. Marcus Trufant, in my opinion, is real close to being a Pro Bowler. Had 5 interceptions this year. As a matter of fact, every one of their secondary people had more than 4. The 2 safeties and the corners. But Marcus Trufant has got those really quick feet and great hips.
It's a very young, very talented secondary and a lot of top draft choices back there. Kevin Stempke, talking about a guy who doesn't get used much. The punter on the Rams hangs this one high down to the 14-yard line. 23-yard kick, but no return. Let's go back to Susie.
Well, Mike, a shootout was what we were looking for in the first wild card matchup of the weekend. The last possession for Seattle looked like disaster. Another interception, but no, it was a face mask. First down, it allowed Hasselbeck to hit Bobby Ingram for the touchdown. He calls Ingram the most underrated on his receiving core. And Ingram told me before the game he likes flying under the radar. That's his personality, not too flashy. He hears it from the right people. Players, coaches, they tell him he's an old school guy, dependable, runs great routes.
Well, Susie, would this be a huge drive for Seattle right now? 4:17 to go in the half, starting deep in their own territory. If they get anything out of this, even a field goal would be enormous.
We still don't know how Sean Alexander's going to react because he hasn't touched the ball since he's gone back in since the wrist got hurt.
Alexander,
I think he's okay.
To about the 23. First playoff game of the postseason, Rams at Seattle from Quest Field. 67,000 on hand, hoping that the Seahawks can do something they haven't done since 1984. The Rams won both home and away, including a dramatic comeback in the game here.
I think Sean Alexander's okay.
Looks fine, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
I want to make a point.
He had 2 wrists.
No, I want to make a point here. Sean Alexander is going to have to become a right-handed carrier of the football. I don't believe that he's going to be able to switch it over to the left side. He likes to run left behind Steve Hutchinson and Walter Jones, but he's going to have that ball exposed to the defense coming at him. This is the thing. Watch where he puts the ball. Remember, he hurt his left wrist. He's running left, and he's still got it in his right hand. Now, there are some guys in the league, like Emmitt Smith, that do that. He doesn't. He's a hand switcher, so it'd be interesting.
And Morris comes in his place. Morris underneath and drops the little check down. Looking up to see who was coming, it appeared.
Tommy Pauly was coming, the linebacker. And I'll tell you, for someone that's really not used to doing this, to catching the ball, and Joe had mentioned it, you got Morris that comes into a ball game, and they really don't play him a whole lot, and then you put him out there, he's going to peak a little bit.
You know what, though? You expect, I was looking at it this way. If you're dressed and you have to go out and play, I don't care how many years you've been in this league, you better know what you're doing.
Well, he only had 30 carries all year compared to Sean Alexander's 353. Hasselbeck underneath. gain of about 8 to tackle by Thomas on the tight end.
That's Corin Robinson.
Or check it on Corin Robinson.
And that's a guy that they really need to step up. Corin Robinson, he gives them speed, he gives them toughness, and even more importantly than just catching the football, he gives them the ability to block outside, which is so important to Sean Alexander's 16, almost 1,700 yards.
He had a breakout year 2 seasons ago, 78 catches for 1,240 yards. Then his numbers fell off last year. And further still this year because of the various suspensions. 4-man rush, Hasselbeck, the pocket collapsed, and Archuleta nearly had the interception on the pass intended for Mealy, and Ryan Pickett just broke down the pocket.
Matt Hasselbeck does a real good job of staying home. Here comes the pressure, hanging in the pocket, and then he gets buried. Now, this, you're seeing a little bit of a philosophical change by Mike Holmgren. That was 3rd and 2. If Sean Alexander is in this game and healthy, I believe he runs it to try and pick it up. There he was forced to throw.
Ken Walter to kick to Sean McDonald. McDonald from the 18, dancing, and doesn't get very far. Robbie Tobeck is wired for sound. Here's what he hears in the trenches.
Jam, jam, jam! Jam, jam! Keep blocking as long as it takes now. Hey, as long as it takes, hold them out.
You know, I had a long conversation with him the other day, and he is really a funny guy. But I'll tell you one thing, he said he loves to play this game. And Hasselbeck was talking about it. When that quarterback sneaker that won the game the other day against Atlanta, he said, don't go running over me. The guy in front of me is really too big. I can't block him. But that's exactly where they went.
Bulger goes to the shotgun. As we approach the 2-minute warning, this pass too high and incomplete. Richard with the coverage on McDonald. We've reached the 2-minute warning officially at 1:57. Back to Seattle after this.
If a moonlit moment.
Coming up on the Lexus Halftime Show, Chris Berman, Steve Young, Michael Strahan, and Brian Billick take a look at the San Diego Chargers turnaround year. And boy, haven't they ever under Marty Schottenheimer and Drew Brees.
Got a lineman, a quarterback, a defensive lineman, and a coach. I love you, Boomer, but you're still a lineman.
Second and 10 for the Rams, who only have 1 timeout remaining.
Go get him. You better go get him.
4-man rush and the toss to Falk. And Marshall Falk will get out of bounds to 25 after a gain of only 3. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Give you an idea of the philosophies of both of these coaches. St. Louis, they have 9 completions for 187 yards. That's Mike Martz. Seattle has 9 completions for 97 yards. And that's Mike Holmgren.
Well, and you know, when you look at it, though, you're looking at it, guys. There's a team that goes downfield against a team that really doesn't. I mean, their whole game, Seattle's within 15 yards of the line of scrimmage. Oh, man.
And Bulger taken down at the 15-yard line. They got the pressure they needed. Straight up the middle that time by G.K. O'Keefer.
Well, I'll tell you, O'Keefer, watch what he does. 56. This is a stunt with the end of the tackle.
Illegal use of hands, hands in the face. 21 defense.
Oh,
5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
That is huge. Instead of the sack, you've got a first down.
Yeah, that's Kenny Lucas, number 21, hands to the face. But I'll tell you what a just an outstanding play. Here comes a penalty. Lucas, now, there it is. His hands, he hit him in the helmet with his hands. So they call that, okay? Now, look at this. O'Keefer coming up the middle. Look at that play. They didn't see the stunt coming. It was the first time in this game they had this stunt, and it absolutely worked.
And here's the thing that Mike Holmgren has to ask himself, is my team mature enough to overcome a play like that? They've really got to hunker down now and play really tough defense after giving up an opportunity.
And this is a Seattle team that has committed the fewest penalties in the NFL. Intended for Curtis. Bruce was also in the area. Incomplete with 1:40 to go in the half.
They had a whole lot of guys in that area and a lot of green shirts too.
Take into consideration, look at the division Seattle plays in. I mean, St. Louis is really the only team that lines up people and runs them down the field. You got San Francisco and Arizona in this division. So, I mean, and these young corners have got to be smart with what they do. So they don't get to, I think, play a lot of foolish football. Plus, Mike Holmgren does a great job of emphasizing it to his ball club regarding penalties.
Bulger, after that great start, has hit only one of his last 6, but that will not stop them from putting it up again. More flags. And this looked like early movement on the Rams.
Prior to the snap, false start, 83, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
But guys,
Kevin Curtis, the second-year man out of Utah State.
It doesn't matter to them. Second down and 15 is so what? I mean, that's your minimum route in this offense is 15 yards. I think the big thing here will be how Ray Rhodes, the defensive coordinator of the Seahawks, decides to play this down. If he plays zone, he's going to give Bulger a chance to pick up a big chunk. If he goes after him, he'll have to get it out of his hands quicker.
Boy, they look like they're having problems on defense lining up.
2nd and 15, drawing a fault. That time he appeared to run right into the heart of the defense. Chad Brown, number 94, led the charge.
You know, when a team that really, in a game like this, and they know they're not going to run the ball very much, it's hard to block anybody.
And Seattle has stopped the clock at the 1:32 mark. Let's go to Susie.
Well, the Rams were looking for the 3-game sweep, and they opened with big game, as in Torrey Holt. Mark Bulger perfect on the opening possession that ends in a touchdown. Marshall Faulk says he loves the playoffs because there's nothing to do but win. He practically walks in for their second score. But Matt Hasselbeck keeping the Seahawks alive. Hits the veteran Bobby Ingram for the touchdown. 14-10 Rams. Seattle looking for their first playoff win in 20 years.
All right, Susan, 1:32 to go first half. You know, we were showing you Chad Brown, who made that last play. And when we first met Chad Brown when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and all you have to know about him, you go to proexotics.com and you find out the guy raises snakes and lizards and yuck.
I don't even shake hands with him, you know that?
No.
I do not like snakes and lizards. I don't shake hands with him because he touches them.
You're terrible.
Bulger pressured, trying to run for it, taken down at the 31. And they'll have to punt.
Chad Brown, they really have missed his pass rushing ability when he was hurt.
Look,
Coming back after a broken leg.
Joe, he is down on the line of scrimmage, and he's going up against a tight end, Manamaliuna, and the tight end really can't keep him out. Now, you see Orlando Pace come back and pick him up on the backside, but just the fact that he was there, he's the one that forced Bulger to step it up inside. I thought if Bulger would have kept to the outside, he might have been able to pick up more yardage.
And Brown very slow to come off the field. Seattle has burned its last time out. Kevin Stemke is on to punt. And the crowd is really psyched here in Seattle. Line drive kick to Bobby Ingram. From the 29, got a couple of blocks. Flag is down. Ingram stopped at the 39. An 11-yard return after a punt of 40. Now Walt Coleman will check the penalty.
I'll tell you what, that flag was thrown as soon as Bobby Ingram caught the ball. There was an illegal block in the back.
During the return, illegal block in the back, 27 of the return team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Jordan Babineau, a backup defensive back, called for the penalty. Coming up, hope you'll join Al Michaels and John Madden for the second half of our Wild Card Saturday doubleheader. The NFL's top rusher, Curtis Spartan, will lead the Jets against Drew Brees, LaDainian Tomlinson, and the AFC West champion Chargers. That's next here on ABC. And Drew Brees, the NFL's comeback player of the year, is selected by the Associated.
You have to wonder, looking at the weather conditions out in San Diego, it has been raining relentlessly out there. I wonder what the field's going to be like and how that will affect those great running backs, as well as, you know, the job that Drew's done.
Hasselbeck to throw, goes over the middle of Tulamili up to the 44-yard line with a clock running, a gain of 17.
You know, you can still go in the middle. This is the time in a 2-minute drill, in the first minute and 10 seconds of this drill, go to the middle of the field, because mostly they leave it open or there are only linebackers there. You got a chance to throw one more in the middle.
Hasselbeck dives. The clock will continue to run. No timeouts.
Now get up and spike the ball. Get everybody on the line and just spike the ball. Just spike it real quick. There you go. 29
stop
seconds.
it with 29 seconds left.
I like the way he runs this 2-minute drill. It's not crazy. It's not out of control. He's got everybody lining up quickly. One of the things that I tried to do in a 2-minute drill was, when I called routes, make sure that the receivers are on the same side of the field if you're going to call a couple of plays. So when they have to come back, they don't have to run all the way across the field, waste 3 or 4 seconds.
The numbers on Hasselbeck. That was a big run, 9 yards, but it brings up a 3rd and 1. And they'll try to get the first down and do with Morris, but with no timeouts. Now you've got to try to spike it again. And they did, with 19 seconds left.
You know, they ran a draw play, and it's exactly what you were talking about. They ran a draw play, and everybody got back. It only took them 10 seconds.
It's because they've practiced it over and over. They are very good at that.
I'll tell you, it really is. It's smart football. They have, and with 19 seconds, he can throw at least 3 more passes to the outside.
But he'll probably throw at least 1 in the middle and then spike it again and kick the field goal. But that's the efficiency of a quarterback that's doing a good job.
Brown has a very strong leg. Hasselbeck under pressure. Down the middle and incomplete with 14 seconds left.
Well, they just grabbed Hasselbeck, and so he realized he had no one open, and he had to fire the ball down the field. Now, 5 seconds went off the clock.
Now you have to be careful if you throw the ball in the middle of the football field. If you throw a 15-yard completion, you've got to figure it's going to be running down under 9 seconds. I don't believe you can do that. They're going to have to work the ball, in this case, Paul, to the sidelines to give themselves a chance to be able to kick a field goal.
And look at the defensive backs sitting on the outside. They're sitting on the out routes.
Hasselbeck throws into triple coverage intended for Ingram. Clock stopped with 9 seconds to go.
I tell you what, well, he was going for everything.
Well, there's no wind factor at all in this stadium. I mean, the flags on the goalposts are hanging completely down. And on 4th down, they're still going to try and get some more yards. Now, Josh Brown his 53 was the longest, and he's 1 for 1 this year from over 50 yards.
Well, this would have been 61. He kicked a 61-yarder in high school. That was off a tee. And now Hasselbeck trying to wind up so he can throw it deep, and is taken down by Lewis at the 44 with 1 second on the clock. Now the Rams will have a shot.
See, now here's a situation where if you're Matt Hasselbeck, you've got to get this ball out of your hands. It was 4th down. On the crazy chance, and of course this is professional football and crazy things happen, now all of a sudden you're going to give those Ram receivers a chance to run down the field, Mark Bolger throw it up in the air. What can happen? Interference, face mask, a lot of bad things can happen to Seahawks. Touchdowns, yeah.
The only thing the Rams don't have out there are starting blocks.
That's right.
These guys are heading downfield. And look at the Seahawks. They're going to put 3 guys at the 5-yard line and wait. We'll be here when you get here.
Bulger throws this one for Curtis. And that's the kind of play they're hoping for a penalty so they can get another play. Our score here in Seattle, the Rams 14, the Seahawks 10. Stay tuned for the Lexus halftime show with Chris Berman, Steve Young, Michael Strahan, and Brian Billick. After this from the NFL and a word from our ABC station.
The Lexus halftime show, brought to you by Lexus and their passionate pursuit of perfection. Here now, Chris Berman.
Welcome back, everybody, to our Lexus halftime show. 14-10, St. Louis leads Seattle. And Chris Berman, along with Steve Young, Michael Strahan, Brian Billick, kind of settling in after that original flurry by the St. Louis Rams. I think back last year, Mark Bulger in the playoffs against Carolina, Steve, when Mike Martz wouldn't let him throw to the end zone with the game on the line, they ended up losing in double overtime. This is a different guy. Confidence and on the road.
He obviously trusts him very much more than last year. And in the playoffs, you can define yourself, and he's doing a great job. He has been accurate all day long. He came out hot. Here's the big play to Curtis to set up the touchdown. He's been hot long. He's been accurate short. He's been touch passes over the middle. I tell you, he stays this hot, he's going to get him at the end of the game.
He should be hot. They're not coming near the guy. The defensive lineman, you hate it. You have to get pass rush. You have to make the quarterback throw the ball quick. The dropping Chad Brown, the best rusher, you got to send him. Don't drop him. He's no use if you in coverage. Send him, rush him. If 4's not getting it done, send 5. If it's not 5, send 6. Make Mark Bulger throw the ball quick.
Well, I think they see a little bit of that. The last couple of series, they did put a little bit more pressure on them, and Seattle looked a lot more aggressive, a lot more comfortable the latter part of that half than the earlier part. I'm impressed the way both teams responded to the challenges. They both recognize that they're in a real game.
Well, they know each other pretty well, and we're going to see what happens the last 30 minutes because the Rams trying to become the first ever 8-8 team to win a playoff game. More in a moment.
Coming up on the Lexus halftime show, how San Diego has turned it around and charged into the playoffs.
Thank you very much, and I think they can title it Reversal of Fortune. Last year, they stumbled out of the gate, never recovered, finished 4-12, and were last in the AFC West. And then there was really nothing to portend any great turnaround in the offseason. But well, Michelle Tafoya has the rest of the story.
With the first choice in the 2004 NFL Draft, the San Diego Chargers select Eli Manning, quarterback, Mississippi.
The draft was an interesting time for this franchise. The Manning family said, there's one team we don't want to go to, and that's San Diego. How did that strike you?
We talked to the Manning family 3 different occasions, and we're told each and every time that we want no part of your organization. That was very upsetting. It was an embarrassment to the organization. So we made a plan, moved forward, and everybody went on with their lives.
That plan was to trade Manning to the Giants for Phillip Rivers, who was tapped to be the future of the Chargers franchise. But fourth-year veteran Drew Brees, who had struggled over the past 3 seasons, was not ready to give up his post.
I can't control who they bring in here. I set my individual goals, and not one of those goals going into training camp was just to be the starting quarterback of the San Diego Chargers. Because in my mind, I already was.
So what did turn Drew Brees into the player he's become?
Drew had said, Coach, I would like to meet with this squad before you do, to assume this leadership role, knowing full well that 50% or more of those people that are listening to you may be saying to one another, what is this guy talking about? He's not even going to be playing for us.
My whole intent for calling that meeting was just to create that belief that, hey, you know, we can do it.
With a vastly improved performance this season, Brees has been the catalyst for a team that went 4-12 just a year ago. With help from new faces on both sides of the ball, the man who came this close to losing his job has breathed new life into the Chargers.
It's totally different from last year, I tell you. So all you other people out there that think the Chargers don't want to win, you're wrong. Plain and simple.
What kind of satisfaction have you derived from all of this?
We're not the laughing stock. We're not picking first in the draft. We're a darn good football team, and we're proud of it.
At 12-4, the Chargers find themselves in unfamiliar territory, the playoffs, a place they haven't been in almost a decade.
Once again, no one's expecting us to do anything in the playoffs, but that's fine. We think we're going to shock a lot of people.
As I told our football team this morning, Michelle, I said, what we're going to do, our goal, our objective, is to win 4 games, one at a time.
Michelle, thank you. Marty Schottenheimer announced today AP Coach of the Year. Congratulations to him. That's the late game. Guys, adjustments. You're at halftime. You've done this a million times, Brian. What are you telling your team?
Seattle's got to get St. Louis off the field on third down. They've given up too many third and long situations.
If Seattle doesn't change their pass rush strategy, they're not going to win the game. They can't keep up with the Rams.
But if Seattle's receivers will catch the ball and not look so surprised every time that Matt throws them the ball, if they have 0 drops today, the second half, I think they win.
Well, we saw in the regular season in October, it was the Rams that came from 17 down against the Seahawks. Can the Seahawks come from 11 down against the Rams? Turnabout fair play. It's playoff time. See you after the game.
The Rams got off to such a fast start here in the first game of the playoffs, but Seattle, to its credit, has turned around and cut the lead to 4, 14-10. And the Seahawks will get the ball first to start the second half.
I don't think the weathermen hit this right on the button, do you?
Well, snow, it was supposed to be snowing.
Rain or whatever.
And they missed by about 10 degrees, thank goodness.
And if you're St. Louis, you just have to be thrilled with the way the weather turned out.
Morris and Evans are deep for the Seattle Seahawks. Morris from the 5. And cut down to 24. Talked about the fast start St. Louis got off to. It looked like they could have turned this ugly in a hurry.
They really could, because they're that explosive on offense. I think in this half what they have to do is go back to working the middle of the football field and create problems for Michael Boulware, their rookie safety, who was a converted linebacker.
And I think Seattle, if they don't put pressure on the quarterback, on Mark Bolger, they're not going to get anything done. They were successful doing that. Offensively, Sean Alexander's got to get in this ball game. If he gets in the ball game and he gets 100 yards, they're going to win the game.
Hasselbeck, short set, goes out to Stevens. And the big tight end down the sideline to the 45. Let's go to Susie.
Spoke to both coaches at halftime. Mike Martz not so concerned about all the pressure Mark Bolger was seeing before the half. He said Mark will make the adjustments now and you'll see more of a regular mix, and they expect the secondary to back up a little bit, probably give them a little bit more room. As for Mike Holmgren, he was surprised that given the interceptions and the tipped balls that his team was still in it. He said they just have to improve on field position.
All right, Susie, and of course that's a big battle for them, because as we pointed out before, this is not your typical big play offense. The West Coast usually has its own version of grind it out.
What really kills it is when receivers drop balls. That's the thing that really sets this offense back. If you're only going to throw 6- and 7-yard routes, then you've got to be able to complete those passes.
We've got an injury timeout as starting right guard Chris Gray is down for the Seahawks.
Left.
ABC's coverage of the NFL playoffs brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it. Autotrader.com. Sell your car fast on the ultimate automotive classified site. And Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. And today's aerial coverage provided by Anheuser-Busch.
That's a pretty stadium, isn't it?
Really
beautiful.
Is. Paul Allen, the owner of the Seahawks, did a wonderful job. Wanted an outdoor stadium. Got a great one.
Hasselbeck quickly underneath Jackson. Nice move to get free. First down at the Rams 47.
Boy, does Matt Hasselbeck know this offense. Darrell Jackson all of a sudden is in this game. We saw him drop the first pass to him. It looked like the first 2 series his head wasn't in it. Now all of a sudden he sees the blitz adjustment, makes the move, and gets away from 3 Rams before 2 get to him. Boy, that's you talk about a confidence builder for a quarterback and a wide receiver.
Seattle moving the ball crisply to start the third quarter. Hasselbeck again underneath to Atulamili, incomplete. First half numbers, 224 total yards for the Rams, who usually win the statistical battle. Right now they're winning the battle on the scoreboard as well. Rushing yards, 71 for the Seahawks. They'll probably need more domination than that. And Chris Gray being taken in the locker room on the cart. That is not good news along their offensive line. Get a report on him as soon as possible. Alexander injured a left wrist in the first half, taken down by Anthony Hargrove, who not only played off the blocker and strung out the play, he made the tackle.
Yeah, well, take a look at who he beats. Walter Jones, number 71, who's the tackle. This guy just, look at this. Look at this play he makes. He not only beats Walter Jones, gets Hargrove. Hargrove gets in the backfield and gets Sean Alexander 33 yards. Not for this guy. This guy's got to get 150 yards.
Well, 3 yards a carry.
140.
Okay.
3 yards a carry, average 4.8 during the regular season, and that won't get it done. Hasselbeck over the middle, and that would complete to Corin Robinson. Near the 35, it's enough for a first down.
Joe, it just looked like, okay, Hasselbeck looks out to the outside to his left, and he sees Max Strong. He's thinking, no, I'm not throwing to him. He's not going to get the first down. Now I'll go downfield.
You know what makes that play, though, is the job that Walter Jones did, giving him protection. Corin Robinson does a nice job of sitting in the hole also. Both of these quarterbacks, Matt Hasselbeck and Mark Bulger, know exactly where everybody is on the football field.
And now the Rams are going to have to burn another timeout on defense. On 1st and 10. Back to Seattle in a moment.
NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
St. Louis on top of Seattle, 14-10, but the Seahawks are driving. They have reached the Ram 35-yard line. Matt Hasselbeck, 13 out of 24 after a very slow start.
And some of those incompletions weren't his faults. They were just bouncing off the hands of his receivers.
Hasselbeck out in the flat to Robinson, fumbled the football out of bounds. What a break for Seattle.
Corin Robinson has had 2 breaks. He's fumbled the ball twice, and it's went out of bounds. But keeping the drive alive, Matt Hasselbeck does an excellent job on the pass before this. It's 3rd and 13. That's Corin Robinson. That's Max Strong in the backfield. Strong goes out, Robinson hooks. He looks out towards Strong and then fires up the field. Look out to the left, turn, step up, fire the completion for the big first down.
And if you wonder why the ball is 2nd down and about 4, you cannot fumble the ball forward.
Alexander hit from behind, dives forward inside the 25.
And
first
get that
down.
yardage. And get that yardage. But that's, you know, this team really is now the Seattle Seahawks offensively. You talk about playing with confidence. Look at here. Look at this blocking. But I'll tell you one thing about Sean Alexander. He has got quick feet, and he can get back inside and find the hole.
You just have to be careful with him having to carry the ball in his right hand all the time.
Hasselbeck underneath to Atulamili. And Mealy close to another first down at the 14.
Guys, you talk about a quarterback. We talk about quarterbacks in a rhythm. Right now, Matt Hasselbeck is setting his back foot and getting the ball. Watch how quickly this ball comes out of his hand. I mean, it is gone in a heartbeat. Atulamili does a great job of getting his head around.
And okay, all right, Sean Alexander. That is Adam Archuleta coming in on the blitz, and he just takes him down.
This will be first down, Seattle near the 10.
Max Strong.
That's the old wedge.
The ball.
That's the old wedge. Just wedge the middle of the football field, give it to the fullback, and let him get the momentum going.
It will be first and goal from the 9.
There's one of the things that always amazes me about fullbacks. When they touch the ball, 4 or 5 times a year, and in a crucial situation, you give it to him and expect him to hold on to the ball.
Max Strong is a special one, though.
Hasselbeck quickly to Jackson. Jackson to the 5.
Boy,
Travis Fisher makes the tackle. But right now, Seattle having everything its way, and this is the essence of that quick passing game.
And get yourself in a rhythm.
And when we talked to them on on Thursday, the thing they talked about, and Gil Haskell, their offensive coordinator, told me when we get an opportunity to get points on the board, we have to score. And I said, do you have scored touchdowns? He says, no, we just got to get points on the board and eat the clock.
Drive approaching 5 minutes. Hasselbeck on the run, buried back at the 7-yard line.
And there was absolutely no one to throw the ball to.
Robert Thomas and Bryce Fisher combined to get him.
Look at here. He's looking for Jackson, and Jackson's on the outside. There's absolutely no place to go. Butler has him covered, but everyone else was covered. Hasselbeck did really the smart thing. Eat the football. The worst you want to come away here is with 3.
See, I really think this is a great throwing formation when you bring in a bunch of tight ends. You bring in a couple of tight ends. The tight end now is in the backfield. He's a viable motion guy. You move people around.
3rd and goal.
And now you're going to have more room.
Yes, you are.
That's right. That gives you 5 more yards of room.
Prior to the snap, false start, 77, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Let me tell you guys, coaches get mad because of a penalty like that, but it's as much on the sideline as it is on the quarterback. If the coach doesn't know what package he wants on the field, it just takes so long to get there. Good job setting by Porkchop Womack, but
now 3rd and goal from the 12. Jerry Wunsch, number 70, is in there for the injured Chris Gray, who's been taken to the locker room for x-rays. Pretty defensive play by DeJuan Gross, who came over the top and batted it down.
I don't even understand the throw.
Well, forget the throw. If they had any confidence, he'd have intercepted this and gone the other way. He breaks great on this ball. I mean, that's an interception. From a defensive perspective, look, he is right there next to the receiver. This defensive secondary has so few interceptions that I think they're afraid to take a chance and go after the ball.
30-yard field goal try coming that would make it a 1-point ball game. Brown has already hit from 47. And he's perfect on this one. So with 8:52 to go 3rd quarter, Seattle has cut the lead to 1. We're in the beautiful city of Seattle, where St. Louis leads it by 1 here at Qwest Field, and it's been a problem for the Seahawks in the red zone against the Rams. They've been there 7 times and have only 2 touchdowns to show for it. The other 5 times they had to settle for field goals. Avion Cason deep for the kick. Across the 30, and rare good starting position for the Rams. Let's go to Susie.
Well, we spent some time with Mike Martz last night. He told us that he is closer to this team than any he's been associated with, and he told us it's because they were babies when they came in. 47% of this team has 3 years or less experience. It's a great opportunity to get them going in the right direction, and he says they're such good guys, kind of an unusual locker room, little division. It's a group that's very connected. They play for each other, and they've bought into the unselfishness. They really have to rely on each other. They don't want to let each other down.
Susie, I know he gets a lot of grief from people, but is there a more exciting offense to watch anywhere? Bulger, draw play to Jackson. Boy, and Jackson has been sort of reticent to put his shoulder down and go, dancing a little bit. And there's Mike Martz, who was best described, I think, a couple of years ago as a ruthless play caller. If he gets you down by 10 and has a chance to get you down by 20 and then 30, he's going to do it.
He's very unpredictable as far as down and distances go. He's not afraid to take a shot on 3rd and long, 3rd and short, 2nd and 6. I really believe they have to challenge this secondary again down the field.
Seahawks show blitz and come with it. Jackson on the draw. Got maybe a yard. That's it.
He just changes the pace of the game, Mike Martz does. When you're standing there saying, all right, now, boy, it looks like he's really got him ready to throw, and all of a sudden he'll come out and run 4 plays in a row.
Well, I'll tell you, I like what they just did, Seattle. Kenny Hamlin, number 26, the free safety, came on a blitz, and he's the guy that made the play. I mean, you've got to come from everywhere when you're playing this team. You cannot let Bulger sit in that pocket and get relaxed again.
6 defensive backs on the field for Seattle, and Mark Bulger trying to get Jackson in the right place, and Jackson doesn't want to go.
Made him take their 2nd time out.
That's the downside for rookies in a complicated offense. 7:21 to go, 3rd quarter. It is almost deafening in here. Middle of the period, and St. Louis has already burned 2 of its timeouts, something we have seen historically from this high-octane offense.
And you just can't keep doing that. It's going to catch up to you sooner or later.
Bulger to Holt, and Torrey Holt will have a first down up at the 46.
How do you quiet 67,000 people?
Just like that.
In a matter of a second.
Just like that. Throw a completion for a first down.
Look at Mark Bulger. Yeah, everything about him is Mr. Cool. And Torrey Holt's the same way. See how he looks in, reads the defense. I really enjoyed the conversation with him last night when he talked about running 3 or 4 different kinds of 8 patterns. Now, 8 patterns are posts, and they're run at different levels, and it's all done by reading.
5 catches, 99 yards for Holt. Bulger wants the screen, got it to Jackson, but Jackson didn't have a chance because of Marcus Trufant.
Oh, I'll tell you what, O'Keefer is the guy. He is in the backfield. He doesn't take the fake. They run a draw and a fake draw, and they're going to run a screen pass to the outside. O'Keefer stays on the outside, makes his play, and then Trufant makes the tackle. Left of your screen, watch. Boom, that's O'Keefer in his face, and then the throw is made and Trufant makes the tackle. That's just perfect defense.
And Marshall Faulk is in the game now, and I just think that he's a guy that's got to touch the ball more in this half.
Blitz coming, Bulger unloads to Curtis, looking for a block and has it. Curtis inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. You can blitz, you can get pressure, but if you don't get there, these guys can eat you alive.
He gets the ball. Mark Bulger gets the ball out of his hands so quickly. Watch up top. He sets the quick post. He's inside on Richard, and it's a foot race. And you're not going to win a lot of foot races with Kevin Curtis.
And it's not like Mike Martz doesn't care if Mark Bulger gets hit on the pressure. He just says he can get rid of it so fast to the right guy, they're not going to get there anyway. Bulger under pressure this time, somehow got away, and then doesn't get away the second time. He's nailed at the 28.
I tell you, Chad Brown comes in and drops his shoulder, and he hits Bulger. Number 94 is going to be the guy at the end of this play. Here comes, I'm going to tell you, this is not a blitz either. This is just a 4-man rush. Watch that, that's Chad Brown. Here comes the hit. Look, it drops his shoulder.
Whoa.
Oh, there's
what a shot.
Right cross.
I mean, that baby hurts. Nah. Trust me, that would hurt.
And as a quarterback, the first thing you want to do, straighten your helmet and get up as quick as you can. Even if you can't see, you just
They're
have
taking
to get
their
up.
last time out. I'm sorry, Joe, but this is the last time out for the Rams.
Well, this may be a timeout called because Mark Bulger is still trying to figure out where he is with 4:41 to go third quarter. We're in Seattle. St. Louis by 1. 4:41 to go third quarter. Here's what happened on that last timeout. Mark Bulger using the third and final timeout. You see him signaling, let's get a play in here. Torrey Holt said, come on, you got to get something in. Play clock winding down. Bulger uses a timeout. They have none left. Now if there's a controversial play, they can't challenge it. They're out of timeout.
Well, here's the play before where Chad Brown just unloads on him. And Mike Martz went after the official, said he got hit in the head with an elbow.
This is what happens when you have 200 pass plays in your offense. You can sometimes outsmart yourself, and that's one of the things Mike Martz talked about. Trying to do too much as a coach, make too many changes, too many adjustments.
Oh, he got hold of one-on-one on the outside.
2nd and 12, blitz coming. Falk, what a cut! Holy cow, Marshall Falk left everybody else standing flat-footed. Are you kidding?
Well, Rocky Bernard, number 99, watch him. He's going to go, I got him. No, I don't have him. Now I got whacked by my own guy.
Ken Hamlin with the same route. Watch number 26 come in late. There's one, there's the other. I think when you're in the playoffs, Marshall Falk has got to get more time on the football field.
Big third down here, 3rd and 5. Falk's in there with good speed in the backfield behind Bulger. Bulger underneath Holt. Gave up the first down and then got it back. What a dangerous move by Torrey Holt.
I'll tell you one thing. We're sitting up here looking. You're looking in the middle of the field, and all of a sudden you see a guy on the right-hand side of this field come uncovered. Nobody's around him, and that's number 81, Torrey Holt. How can he be that free? Here he goes. He fakes to the outside. He loses the defensive man, and look at how clear he is. There isn't a green shirt around him. Look at here. Back to the inside, and there's really nobody on him.
Sometimes you have to give credit to a very well-designed route, and that was an excellent route.
6 catches, 108 yards for Holt. Bulger in trouble, and down he goes. Chike O'Keefer again has him at the 20. 3 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first NFL playoff game of the year. And the Rams hanging on to a 1-point lead, trying to extend it here, but now facing a 2nd and 19.
This has been a fast third quarter.
And the St. Louis Rams are without their timeouts. They've used everyone up here in the third quarter, which could be a big factor towards the end of this game.
Bulger just throws this one away, making sure he doesn't take the sack or make the big mistake down here.
See, having the Rams in 3rd down and 20 or 19, to me, is a scary proposition, because now, if you play the zone like they did early in the game on the first drive, he hits Torrey Holt in the middle of the football field, behind the linebackers, in front of the safeties. You've got a rookie safety in Michael Boulware playing there, and that's the guy I think they would want to try and isolate.
The Rams could conceivably get a first down. It would be inside the 1-yard line. Bulger to the end zone, too high for Holt, into a double team. Lucas was there, and Chris Richard was there, and here comes the field goal unit.
This is just outstanding coverage on look at this. Torrey Holt goes in, and he runs right into the safety. I mean, this is outstanding coverage, but Isaac Bruce was open.
And Kenny Lucas got his hands on him. He's going to have to be careful. You can't touch the receivers downfield when the ball's in the air.
Jeff Wilkins from 38 yards. And the Rams regain a 4-point advantage, 17-13 in Seattle, 2:35 to go, third quarter. Check in with Susie.
Well, Mike, the Rams looking for that 3-game sweep of Seattle. On the first possession, Mark Bulger was a perfect 4 for 4, and he ended by going to Torrey. Big game Holt, who's been huge game, 6 catches, 108 yards. The Seahawks answered with a Josh Brown field goal, and then it was Marshall Faulk walking in from the 1. Matt Hasselbeck keeping him in it, hits his veteran Bobby Ingram for the touchdown. Another Josh Brown field goal. Jeff Wilkins adds one more, and that's where we stand in the third quarter, 17-13 Rams.
All right, Susie, 2:35 to go, third quarter. Seattle has evened up the statistical battle, and it's only 4 points on the scoreboard.
Why is it every year when we get a wild card game, it's always a great one?
It's a wild one.
That's right, it is. That's why they're called wild card games.
I'll tell you, a lot of times, I mean, I think the Jets and San Diego game, remember, Jets beat San Diego earlier this year, one of the few teams that were able to do that. What's the weather going to be like in San Diego? It's a beautiful day here in Seattle, though.
How many times do you get to say that? It's a beautiful day here in Seattle, and it's raining cats and dogs in San Diego.
25 regular season games played at this stadium, and they've never had bad weather.
Morris from the 6. Cut down at the 24. Last season in the playoffs, the Seahawks and the Packers ended regulation tied, and a very confident Matt Hasselbeck guaranteed a Seattle score during the overtime coin toss. Not a good move. Then the Packers' Al Harris intercepts Hasselbeck and returns it for a touchdown in a 33-27 win.
And that stays with you through the entire offseason. It's the last throw that you made in that year of 03. It's the last throw, and today is a tremendous opportunity to put that pass far, far behind you.
Screen to Alexander. Nice run by Sean Alexander up near midfield as Tommy Polley went after the football. Not only didn't get that, he didn't get Alexander.
Well, you want to see a play that you don't ever want to see when you're in the meeting room with the players. Antoine Edwards, number 42. Watch the move that Alexander does on him. Not there, right here. Bink, back inside. And all you got was one arm on him, and you're not going to bring Alexander down with one arm.
And anytime you drop your head trying to make a tackle, 95% of the time you're coming up with a half a leg and a lot of air.
First catch for Seattle running back. Morris was the man in motion. Hasselbeck looks one way, throws the other, and Fisher just unloads on Darrell Jackson. 7 catches, 62 yards this afternoon. Good game for Jackson.
And here comes Hasselbeck with that efficiency again. He just seems to get himself into a rhythm, and when he does, he looks to the sidelines and he's saying, "Hey, Mike, give me the play.
Well, he
give it to me a little sooner."
That's why Mike Holmgren wanted him from the Packers. He wanted him to be his quarterback.
And coaches get into that rhythm calling plays as well. Alexander stood straight up by Pickett and Archuleta.
Sean Alexander cannot have the impact for the Seattle offense that he has had all year because of that sore wrist. Everything he's doing, he's either protecting a little bit when he's running or having to protect the football in an uncomfortable way, carrying it just in his right arm. So he's about, I'd say, 85% of where he was coming into this ball game.
Morris checks in for him on 3rd and 4, time running out third quarter. Hasselbeck under pressure, throws underneath. That'll be a first down. Jackson with another catch.
Oh, what a beautiful throw. You know, we're talking about rhythm and where he steps up, gets planted, and Hasselbeck throws the ball. Just look at this pass. This pass is absolutely perfect. He is the only guy, Jackson is the only one that can get there. Butler had no chance.
What's surprising is Matt Hasselbeck's completion percentage is below 60%. He's 58.9. And when you see the way he sets and the rhythm that he gets in sometimes, you scratch your head and say, how?
That's the end of the third quarter. The Rams lead the Seahawks 17-13. ABC's NFL Wildcard Saturday continues after this from our ABC station. Ready to start the fourth quarter in Seattle, where the Seahawks are down by only 4. 20 years since the last postseason win. They beat the Los Angeles Raiders in 1984. Alexander.
For those of you who are wondering, yes, Jerry Rice plays on the Seattle Seahawks football team. And yes, Jerry Rice has been on the field for most of their offense. And no, they have not thrown one ball in his direction.
Very unusual role for Jerry Rice to be a part of an offense through 3 quarters and not have a pass thrown to you. But a credit to his professionalism is he continues to run the routes hard and help this ball club.
Hasselbeck, the out.
Oh.
Jackson, that should be another first down.
I'll tell you what, I got to see this again for this mark. I mean, you got to understand something. Jackson is coming back to the ball. Let's just take a look at that line. Is not really true. All right, he's up in the air. And now if he comes down on about the 25-yard line.
But keep in mind, the Rams do not have the ability to challenge, so it wouldn't matter because he could challenge the mark.
Hasselbeck again goes for the end zone. Jackson, touchdown.
That looked like the same route that we saw Bobby Ingram make the touchdown reception on in the first half.
He beat DeJuan Gross by 2 steps. 10 catches, 106 yards for Darrell Jackson.
Starting from the right side, you see him. There he is, coming across in the route. Now there it is again. DeJuan Gross was the same guy that they beat with the same route, but with a different person earlier in the game.
How about the throw, man?
Oh, beautiful throw.
He's hot.
And Darrell Jackson was the same guy that started the game, running down the field and not even turning his head around to see where the ball was. He certainly changed that pattern. Seattle, to the delight of 76,000, has taken the lead 20-17 here at home. 7 plays, 76 yards, 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Hasselbeck to Jackson for the touchdown. And Darrell Jackson with 10 catches, 106 yards, a Seahawk record in a playoff game. Kason to the 30.
I want you to notice what Darrell Jackson does, but I want you to pay attention to Jerry Rice. That's Darrell Jackson. That's Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is going to go down and clean out both of the defenders, and Darrell Jackson is just going to go right across the field to the voided area. This is the job that Jerry Rice does, running hard, taking the defenders. It allows Darrell Jackson to go into a voided area in front of DeJuan Gross and wind up with the touchdown. Nice throw also by Matt Hasselbeck. Ties his career high, 10 catches.
Steven Jackson, the running back behind Bulger. Isaac Bruce at the 37-yard line, only his 2nd catch today.
I like, Isaac Bruce. You want to know why he's been around and catches so many balls?
Why?
Because when Isaac Bruce catches a ball, there's no reason for him to take a big blast and get 1 more yard. He knows he has no room to run. He just catches the ball and goes right down. Now it's 2nd down. He can play another play.
Jackson.
Oh, what a nice job by Chad Brown. Just a really nice job. You don't have to go up and lay a big hit on people. Sometimes all you need to do is use your hands, keep the blocker away from you, and just slide them right out of bounds.
And they're about 2 yards shy.
Look at that. Does a great job with Adam Timmerman coming around, trying to block him, but he can't get the outside.
Third and 2, and on 3rd down, Mark Bulger has converted 75% of the time. Jackson, 1st down. And they do it the old-fashioned, the non-Ram way on the ground.
Well, I'll tell you what, and you want Jackson on that last play, Steven Jackson just showed you how much power he really has. This is a big man because he was hit in the backfield and still picked up 4 yards on the play.
Now he's almost a full yard below his average. He averaged 5 yards a carry, which was the league leading average this year. So the Seahawks, from a running standpoint, are doing a good job.
First down, Rams at the 43. Bulger with plenty of time, tipped it incomplete. Bruce got a hand on it. Curtis was also in the area.
I'll tell you what, I see a lot of patterns that this team has, but I don't ever remember seeing two guys in the same spot. And when you do that, you have a whole lot of green shirts in the same area.
They're crisscrossing in the middle. When Mark Bulger throws the ball in the middle of the football field, it's almost like watching Michael Jordan take a jump shot. You just hold your breath because it's either going to wind up beautifully landing in someone's hands or there's going to be, like Paul mentioned, a lot of people moving through one little area.
Second and 10. Play fake to Jackson. Bulger with time underneath, and there's that man, Chad Brown again.
You're going to have
Maliuna.
You're going to have Kenny Lucas again, and it's totally away from the play. He is on Isaac Bruce, and they threw a flag over here, and that
illegal contact, 21, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Boy, you got to have him in 3rd and 10 situation, and Kenny Lucas.
Remember, in the playoffs last year is where the rule emphasis was created. Walt Coleman's group, he was the referee in the Indianapolis game.
Where guys were
being mugged with Indianapolis and New England. And it's a rule emphasis that's out there. And I'm just wondering how it will play out through the entire playoff picture, not just in our game. We've seen it play a part in this one already.
And Seattle has done a brilliant job all year long, the least penalized team in the NFL. They've been hurt today. Falk. Marshall Falk into Seattle territory inside the 48-yard line.
I tell you, Chike O'Keefer has played one heck of a football game for the Seattle Seahawks at the defensive end position. He's put a lot of pressure on Bulger. He's run down runners. That was a nice tackle by Marshall Falk because they're blitzing up the middle. And if he doesn't make this play, there he is up against the tight end outside. Marshall Falk's got a lot of green in front of him if he doesn't make that tackle.
2nd and 6. Bulger under pressure to the sideline and out of bounds. First down, Isaac Bruce.
Oh, I tell you what, just when you watch Bulger, you know, we've been talking all night about him knowing where everyone is on this football field. And I can assure you that Isaac Bruce wasn't his #1 target. If he was anything, he was 3rd. Isaac Bruce will go down. Look at this. But you look at the time that Bulger has. He just finds Bruce because he was looking at Torrey Holt. He also looked at Marshall Falk. Then he came back over here.
That looked like one of those moves that they make on that turf. That quick stop, turn around, here I am.
And the same kind of move he fell down on in the first half. Bulger pump fake, goes deep. Bruce out of bounds.
Another flag.
Another flag.
They'll call it again. It's the pump and go, and the rules are set up for you to get called 9.
Illegal contact, 23, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
9 out of 10 times, if a receiver runs a pump and go and you're going man-to-man, that's the situation. Marcus Trufant, there's the little out. There's the... Oh,
wait a minute.
Come on, guys. I mean, he doesn't put a hand on him.
That's a bad call.
Boy, tough to find any contact.
This is what scares me a little bit about the playoffs and this rule emphasis is, are the officials going to be deciding factors in whether teams advance or not, or is it going to be the play of the teams on the field? That's the thing that scares me with this rule emphasis.
4 flags for illegal contact on the secondary. Falk, another great cut. Marshall Falk down to the 17-yard line. Well, there's still something left in the tank, isn't there?
He's living for this game.
Well, I'll tell you what, he makes a move back to the inside. And that is O'Keefer going down the field. He is being blocked, but he never sees that move that Marshall makes back to the outside, and there wasn't a linebacker there.
He's been doing it for a long, long time. His 11th year out of San Diego State. One of the best that ever played the game. Very patient drive for the Rams. You don't say that very often. Bulger under pressure. He can run. Inside the 10, slides at the 9.
Michael, that patience has been helped an awful lot by a couple of penalties by the Seahawks in very crucial and critical situations. I mean, if you throw the ball as much as the Rams do, if you're not getting called for holding penalties, you're going to get some breaks. Good decision. Nice job again. The Seahawks basically do a nice job of covering. There you see Truafont staying away from him, but he's in his hip pocket. Bulger's forced to take off and run.
They marked the ball at the 10 where Bulger started his slide. 2nd and 3. Jackson. They're very hesitant. Picked up maybe 1. They need to reach the 7 for a first down.
I'll tell you what, you want to talk about a guy, we talked to Mike Martz about him last night, with a lot of guts, is Tom Newton, number 61, the left guard. This guy is, I mean, he's just hurt, right? Oh, yeah, he's hurt.
One leg.
He limps back in and out of the huddle. But once that ball, well, watch it, when he comes up the line of scrimmage, he's limping. Now, when that ball is snapped, he is popping.
Sprained left knee. They have had offensive linemen beaten to a pulp all year. Bulger. Knocked away, almost intercepted. Intended for the tight end, Manamaliuna, and Bulware almost picked it.
But G.K. O'Keefer, again, is the one that gets in Bulger's face. Look at number 56. He's forcing him to make the throw, and you see Michael Bulware cuts right in front. If Manamaliuna doesn't really hit him from behind, he probably would pick it off.
Wilkins will come on for a 27-yard field goal try. He's hit from 38. And we are tied in Seattle with 8:07 to go in the first playoff game of the year. What a great ball game. 8:07 to go in the playoffs from Seattle. St. Louis and the Seahawks deadlocked at 20 apiece.
Michael, we're midway through the fourth quarter, and both of these teams have only had 2 drives this half. St. Louis 23 plays in 2 drives. Seattle 21 plays in 2 drives. That's ball control.
For St. Louis, it's amazing. Morris from the 1. Swallowed up at the 20. The Rams special teams, maligned all year, done a pretty good job today. ABC's coverage of the NFL playoffs brought to you by the coldest tasting beer in the world, Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Wendy's new combo choices. Wendy's, it's better here. And Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. Today's aerial coverage provided by Anheuser-Busch over the beautiful Quest Field in Seattle.
Corin Robinson is on the field for the Seahawks, and remember, he's fumbled twice today. Fortunately, one went out of bounds, the other he managed to recover.
Hasselbeck, who's had good protection, now on a run, throws at Tulamili, bulldozes his way outside of the 40.
Now,
22-yard gain, Paul.
Well, this is Hasselbeck. It's at his best. But Mealy at the end, you watch when he catches this ball. Look at Hasselbeck. Dodge, knows where he is. Now watch Mealy. At the end of this play, you talk about extra yards, these are his.
Hasselbeck really tearing it up in the second half. He has only missed 2 passes. Robbie Tobeck, the starting center, mic'd up for Seattle, trying to fire up this offense.
Man, I am tired of field goals. Let's get some sevens up there, man. Let's get some sevens. Yeah, let's go win this thing now. Hey, let's go win this thing. It don't, nothing else matters. Let's go win this thing. It's 0-0, baby. Let's do it.
Robbie Tobeck was in junior high school the last time this team won a playoff game.
Well, he's right about the 0-0, but there happens to be 2 in front of both of them.
Hasselbeck with time underneath to Jackson. Can't get much out of this because of Tommy Polley. Let's go to Susie.
Well, you're watching Robbie Tobeck. That offensive line, they are an exclusive group. And since Matt arrived in Seattle, he has worked really hard to be accepted by that group, telling us that probably has something to do with watching Brett Favre in Green Bay. He and his center, Frank Winters, were inseparable. Matt naturally drawn to these guys, and they've accepted him as one because he gets in defenders' faces. He plays hurt, toughness. They love that. Total control in the offense. Tobeck really loves the guy.
All right, Susie, 3rd and 7 here. Huge play as we approach the 6-minute mark. Hasselbeck trying to change the play. Rams show blitz and come with it. Hasselbeck throws, knocked away. Jeremetrius Butler was right there with Jackson.
And that was not a typical Matt Hasselbeck throw. That one he had to wait a little bit more. It was out of rhythm, and he hung it up a little bit behind Jackson. And that's why he's upset with himself. We've seen how hot he is in the second half. Over the last 4 games of the season, he's completed almost 72% of his passes.
That was tipped a little bit, too.
For 10 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, but that one wasn't quite the way he wanted.
Walter to kick to Sean McDonald. He has to go all the way back to his 10. Low returnable kick. McDonald from the 14 has a seam. And got back to the 22 before he is drilled. Mark Bulger got off to such a hot start. Can he get it back and bring the Rams a playoff victory? Al Michaels and John Madden standing by. The second half of our wild card Saturday doubleheader from San Diego. They'll have the NFL's top rusher Curtis Martin and the Jets against Drew Brees and the AFC West champion Chargers next here on ABC.
Well, you want to talk about some running backs in that game. Wow.
Mark Bulger trying to lead his offense. Chad Brown doing everything defensively can to stop him. Bulger got off to such a great start. Only 6 out of 10 cents. Marshall Faulk, the running back, lowers his shoulder, running hard out to the 29.
This is going to be this section of the game right now. We will see the management skills of Mike Martz. How quickly does he want to move the ball down the field? There's 5 minutes, 20 seconds left. He has no timeouts. So he's going to force Seattle to use his if he can eat up some clock and get in position. Remember, they only need a field goal attempt to win this ball game.
Faulk again. And Seattle swarms on Marshall Faulk. They need to reach the 34 for a first down. It will be a big 3rd and short coming.
Well, you got Tom Newton, who's down now, and you know, this guy
has been a warrior.
Oh,
right, Paulie?
Man, I tell you, I've been watching him all night long, limp in and out of the huddle. They have no idea how he's playing. Mike Martz even told us last night. He said we have no idea how this guy plays, but he plays.
He's wearing a brace on that knee. One ligament is totally gone. The other one is sprained. And Mike Martz said we're only going into this game with 6.5 linemen to start with. Newton being the half because he's limping on one leg. They've had injury problems up front all year long, starting with Kyle Turley at the beginning of the season.
Well, he has to go off because there's a timeout here. But I'm going to tell you something. To me, this is when the St. Louis Rams are the most dangerous. You've got them in a 3rd and 2.5 situation. And with all of their weapons and the things that they do, to me, that's scary.
Yeah, but I still think that the first concern of Mike Martz has got to be to pick up the first down. Don't worry. And now, they could throw a 15-yard in. That's his idea of picking up 3 yards.
That's what I'm saying.
But you
They're
really
dangerous.
have to get the yardage.
Well, we have a moment. We would like to thank our entire Sunday Night Football production team bringing you today's telecast, led by our producer, Jay Rothman, our director, Chip Dean, our technical director, Mark Herklotz, and thanks to our executive producer, Jed Drake, also here with us in Seattle today, the Senior Vice President of ESPN's Programming and Production, Mark Quinzel, the executive producer of ABC Sports is Mike Pearl, and to all the people who have worked with us all year long, our deepest appreciation, Mark Fredrickson, our statistician, Dave Dare, our spotter, Alex Stern from Elias Sports, and Nancy Volter, our stage manager, and about 100 other folks.
You bet, you bet.
Huge play, 3rd and 2 for the Rams. Bulger out in the flat, 1st down and more, McDonald. Holy cow, what a play.
And you know, throwing him down out of bounds
that
like
should have been another 15 yards.
I mean, as far as the game goes from an officiating standpoint, they're letting these guys play with the emotions in this game.
How about that for a play call? McDonald had not made a catch the entire game. This is 31 yards.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, look at McDonald comes out of the backfield. I said, on 3rd and 2, this is when they're the most dangerous because you plan on him running the ball, get the 1st down. But take a look at here. Now you're throwing him out of bounds, and I agree.
How is that not 15 yards, Paul?
Ken Hamlin does it. I don't know why. The officials are standing right there. It should have been.
It's a huge play nonetheless for the Rams. They have it at the 37, 1st and 10. Bulger underneath. Curtis taken down at the 24.
Now here's the thing, if you're the Seattle Seahawks, you have your timeouts. So you have the full complement of the 3 timeouts. You also have the 2-minute warning in your favor. Right now you can still play some defense. I don't think you start to use them. But once this thing gets down to 3:30, Mike Holmgren's got to start thinking about how he wants to use the timeouts.
Curtis has gone over the 100-yard mark with his 4th catch. It's just amazing to watch these guys play. Every time you think you got them where you want them, kaboom.
No, they got you where they want you.
And the Seahawks have let a couple games get away from them in the 4th quarter this year.
Including the first game they played against this team. Falk near the 20. And the clock continues to churn.
See, this is a great call. This is a great call because it puts them in 2nd down and 6. But the best part about this call is it's going to run a lot of clock off. And what they're trying to do, and Martz is trying to do, is like Joe was talking about a moment ago. Let's force them, Holmgren, and the Seattle Seahawks to take a timeout, which he hasn't done yet. But he will when they get inside 3 minutes.
Well, after this play, I think he's going to be forced to use one of his timeouts.
Of course, you don't want to burn them too early either.
Yeah, and you don't want to give up a touchdown. A field goal, you got a better chance of having an opportunity to tie.
There's a lot of things you don't want to do right now. Falk dancing. Ducks between tacklers, reaches the 17-yard line. They have to get to the 14 for a 1st down, so there will be another big 3rd down coming.
I don't agree with this. I think they should take a timeout here.
I find it interesting that they're letting the clock run down.
Well, they got to run a play before the 2 minutes. That's probably what he's thinking about. And then they'll maybe take a timeout right after that and get to the 2 minutes. They'll still have 2.
They better figure out how to stop them from picking up this 1st down first.
The Rams 8 out of 13 on 3rd down today. Play action, Bulger over the middle, touchdown. The tight end, Cam Cleveland. Are you kidding?
What a way to have your first catch. The ball game.
He's only caught 7 balls all during the regular season.
Did you see the look on Mike Martz's face? You know, he called the play. He just said, hey, I called this play. Nobody's paying attention to Cam Cleveland. Look at him go down the middle of the field. I mean, you don't expect him to throw there, and they do.
To me, that is such a gutsy call in this situation.
But it's against a rookie middle linebacker, Ketavides. He gets turned around, and Mike Martz absolutely loves what he saw. And Mark Bulger actually showed some emotion.
So many weapons, and 27 points now for the St. Louis Rams, who have taken the lead In NFL history, 8 teams have made the playoffs without a winning record, and the St. Louis Rams are one of them. None has ever won a postseason game, but this is not your typical 8-8 team. Bulger literally missed 3 games with a bad shoulder. They lost 2 of those that he didn't start. They could conceivably be 10-6 coming in here.
Now you spin it forward and you look at the Seattle Seahawks on offense. You say, okay, what are they going to have to do against this Ram defense? I think, first of all, they're going to have to catch the football. You can't drop it. You're going to have the 2-minute warning, plus you're going to have the 3 timeouts. So time is not necessarily going to be a factor. They're going to need bigger chunks than 6 yards, though.
You know what the factor is? You see that 7 up there?
Yeah.
Above that 0?
They got to go get it.
That's what the factor is.
Go get it to OT.
The Rams today have scored on drives of 75 yards, 75 yards, and 76 yards.
Now keep in mind, the Seattle defense had allowed only 1 drive all year in 16 games for 80 yards or more for a touchdown.
Can they end the drought? The longest in the NFL. It's been since 1984.
Seattle was in an overtime situation against Green Bay last year. Can they get it there this year?
Morris and Evans are deep. Very short kick. Morris from the 15. Straight up the middle, the best return of the day up to the 36-yard line. And Morris is hurt. Eric Flowers was in on the special teams tackle. And Morris doubled over as he comes off the field. The pressure falls squarely on Matt Hasselbeck, Sean Alexander, and the offense of the Seattle Seahawks, Mike Holmgren, who won the division at 9-7.
Now here's the situation. You've got Sean Alexander, who's got a sore wrist. We just saw Maurice Morris go off the field, and he's kneeling down on the bench, and they're working on him. So both of your running backs are not in the best of shape.
Four-man rush. Hasselbeck over the middle. He has really worked his tight ends very effectively. Tuipulotu with another catch. He's already down to the Rams 46. We've got a timeout. The 2-minute warning at 1:59. The game is on the line for the Seahawks. They are down 27-20 with 1:59 to go.
How many times have you ever heard this? The game is on the line and Jerry Rice is not on the field.
Not very often in 20 years.
They got speed out there now.
1st and 10 from the 46.
Corin Robinson's got to step up for the Seahawks in this situation.
Offensive line has done a good job. Jackson right through his hands again. That's the way he started the game.
Well,
and that baby just whistled through there.
Well, this is a situation where you're running before you get the football. And this is what Joe said before when they took the ball. The first thing he said is that the receivers have to hold on to the football. I don't care if it's a 3-yard gain and you might have a chance to break it. You've got to catch the football.
There's the drop balls. The first one was intercepted that Darrell Jackson dropped. We've seen others go on the ground, but
what a time to drop one.
You're definitely in 4-down territory, but still.
Hasselbeck underneath to Jackson. He didn't drop this one. To the 25.
How about Mike Holmgren? Here's a guy that's put 2 balls on the ground, critical drops, and yet he just keeps calling his number. I mean, that's a heck of a call by the coach.
Well, look what happens here. They get him outside. Adam Archuleta was inside, and then he dropped back to the outside. They even had a linebacker there, and they still couldn't stop the play.
12 catches, 128 yards for Jackson. Hasselbeck under pressure. Tuipulotu again. It's the Tuipulotu-Darrell Jackson show.
You know, guys, I still think you have, if you're Mike Holmgren, you have to be conscious of the amount of time left in this game. I don't think you can score and leave the Rams with a minute. I really think you've got to take this thing down as far as you can. You've got plenty of timeouts and pick your spots, but don't leave a lot of time on that clock. for that Ram offense.
I'm going to tell you
Six
right now.
catches, 98 for Tulamili.
I disagree. I think you got to put that ball in the end zone when you can, and if it's right now, do it.
Hasselbeck goes down at the 18-yard line. Finally, some pressure. Jimmy Kennedy, the second-year defensive tackle out of Penn State, gets the sack.
See, these are the things that can happen if you're sitting there thinking, and I really don't believe that a coach is going to say, well, okay, we got to run 25 seconds off and then score. You score whenever you can. Because here are the bad things that can happen.
Well, when I talked to Gil Haskell, their offensive coordinator, one of their concerns regarding the Rams was their front four. Jimmy Kennedy, drafted in 03, first-round pick. Ryan Pickett, drafted in 01, first-round pick. You've got Robert Thomas, their middle linebacker, drafted in 02, first-round pick. Damian Lewis, the other tackle, first-round pick in 01. Defensive line, they got a bunch of number ones that can bring it if you get stuck that way.
But that offensive line has done a tremendous job today. Leonard Little, with all that speed from the outside, hasn't gotten a sniff.
And the quarterbacks have done an unbelievable job. Look at the playoff record for Hasselbeck, 329.
But sure the most important 17 yards still in front of him.
Well, I'll tell you something. And every time that Sean Alexander has kind of drifted out of the backfield, they really haven't had anybody on him.
Hasselbeck goes for the end zone. Very fortunate that Jackson was able to get back there and make sure that Travis Fisher didn't get a shot at that one.
Try a little pump and go, and you know it's third down. You know you have to try and get it down to the 1 foot line if you want to get a first down.
Well, Travis Fisher wasn't buying.
My boy's over here looking for a first down on the 1 foot line.
Well, I'm looking at it. They could.
How about a touchdown?
That'd be nice too.
Boy, he really doesn't want to score early.
Boy,
I'm beyond
that.
Get
a first down?
Okay, I'm beyond the scoring. They've got to get in the end zone now.
Third down. Four-man rush, no pressure. Underneath, Ingram taken down at the 5. It will be 4th down and 4.
It'll be overtime, possibly, or else it'll be the Seahawks suffering another defeat. But what a job this offensive line did, Paul. You talked about it.
Well, you know, and look at this. They're waiting on Bobby Ingram to come underneath. And look what the Rams did. I like what they did defensively. They played everybody back on the goal line to come up when the catch is made.
How about this throw, that little flickety sidearm throw that Hasselbeck puts out? This is it. This is where you go to the coach and give me your best play.
And actually, they were very fortunate that the umpire, Carl Paganelli, still has some quicks and ducked, because that ball could have easily hit him and been an incompletion.
Yeah, he brings that thing down from the side to make the throw. Now, Mike Holmgren's got to have the play. Every coach has got the play.
This is it.
The guys have to block it up front. Mike Holmgren's saying, okay, our defense has got to come up with a play. Leonard Little has not been heard of all day long.
Conceivably, you could get a first down, but it would be right at the goal line. Hasselbeck, room to run. Now he throws. Incomplete. Intended for Ingram.
Boy, will there be a lot of second guessers on this baby, because when you take a look at it, did he have a chance to make it if he ran?
I thought he did, Paul.
Well, I'm going to tell you what.
I think
those
this
white
is dropped.
shirts, yeah, those white shirts close in a hurry. Now, Bobby Ingram, number 84, is the guy that he was looking at. Here's the throw, sidearm throw to Bobby Ingram. This ball hits him in the hands, and he drops the football. That is a hard catch anyway. But the question is, did Hasselbeck have any room? Look at this.
I think that, Paul,
that ball should have been
caught.
caught.
You know, you're a receiver in the National Football League. There's, to me, if it's this kind of a situation in a game, it touches your hands.
You got to catch it.
You got to catch it. Oh.
And that is just heartbreak for Matt Hasselbeck and Mike Holmgren, not to mention Bobby Ingram. Mike Holmgren is as respected, well-liked a coach as there is on the planet, and if anybody up here is thinking Mike Holmgren should not be back as the coach of this franchise, I think they're nuts.
This is a very young football team. A Pro Bowl quarterback, a Pro Bowl running back, a very young defensive secondary. Mike Holmgren has just started to build this football team. They will be back in the playoffs a year from now again.
A crushing loss for Seattle. The Rams beat the Seahawks 27-20. We'll be back from Seattle after this from our ABC station. (27-20) the final. St. Louis over Seattle. We asked, could Matt Hasselbeck make it in? Joe, could he?
I don't think so, Mike. I think Matt Hasselbeck does a nice job of getting around, trying to get the ball to Bobby. It would have been a tough catch, just a bad situation.
Let's go to Susie with Mark Bulger.
Well, Mark, that was close, but so much for 8-8. What does it say about this team?
We know we're a good team. We have talent, but we've made a lot of mistakes this year. And, you know, Seattle played us good, but fortunately we've been making plays the last 3 weeks when we've had to, and, you know, that wasn't the case all year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Susie. The final 27-20 for Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Susie Kolber, and our entire ABC crew. This is Mike Patrick. What a ball game. Now let's go to Chris Berman in New York.
Well, thank you very much. Well, it comes down to the last couple of plays. The Rams made them. The Seahawks did not. And the Rams, that first 8-8 team, moving on in the playoffs. Steve Young, Michael Strahan, Brian Billick. Well, Bulger, including the winning touchdown on third down, 9 of 14. He was very clutch. Very clutch.
And the running games were non-existent for both teams. It was a game of quarterbacks. And so at the end of the day, one quarterback they both played well. One quarterback made one extra play, then the other one didn't. Mark Bulger gets the credit.
I agree with you. I think the game of the quarterback, but the receivers, you have to catch the ball. I know the last one was tough, but the receivers' hands are porous. It's like me trying to hold a mouthful of water with my mouth open. It just ain't going to happen.
Both teams played playoff caliber football. They both responded to adversity. Neither team folded. Both can be very proud of what they've done.
Well, turnovers a minimum, which has been the Rams' bugaboo. Congratulations. The Rams at 8-8 are moving on. We'll be back with the Wild Cherry Pepsi Between Game Show after this from our ABC stations.